Celtic way, wave with a ball from side to side, and until they try to hide, the wave with a ball from front to back. Attack, attack, attack at the 67, and then he's a buzzman, the buzzing and the bows.
Made a wee bit boo-boo there. Good evening, everybody. Thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to episode number 156 on Celtic Rumours TV, episode 156 of the Bawz and Bovril podcast with myself, Mark. Big Jerry's on Wednesday nights. The new evening, Jerry.
How we doing, Mark? Are you okay, bud?
I'm good, mate. How about you?
Living the dream, living the dream.
As always.
Ecstatic after yesterday.
Oh, aye. Hopefully Terence will be coming on. I'll put the link out in the live chat in a minute as well if anybody wants to come on for. You don't even need to come on for an hour. You just come on to have your say and then go away if you want to. So shout outs for some of the lads on our forum at www.celticrumours.co.uk. It's a bit of a moan fest now, but it's usually a good bit of cracking that on there, so everybody's more than welcome to come across there and join on the forum. The link to everything's in the description box below as well, with forum, the Discord group and everything. A shout out to obviously Paul still on the injured list, old Tim Malloy, Richie, Malika, Welshie, Mikey, a Glasgow Green. I've noticed a few new names on the forum as well, and I forgot who it is in case it is guys out the live chat. Just see who's in the live chat for the new. Evening, Bobby. Remember hit the like button when you're coming in, please, as well. And if you know how to leave a comment in the description, in the comment section below, because it helps us build up through the algorithm and stuff like that. Henky Maravchik, evening, mate. William Smith, John Coyle, nice to see you, John. Craig Young, thanks very much for coming in. Plunge McNugget, evening, comrades. Evening, mate. Grot Bags again. Brian G. Brian, nice to see you, Brian. Liam. Mark Link, I don't know if I said you. Aidan Nicholson, nice to see you again, Aidan, mate. William Smith. Yeah, I think that's everything, though, for that. Well, that yesterday, that was unbelievably by far one of the worst performances I've seen it for any Celtic team in a long, long, long time.
Couldn't agree more, mate. It was absolutely dire. And how we ended up clinging on to that at the end was unbelievable. You get that early goal and you think, yes, here we go. This is going to be a goal fest. We're going to get 3 or 4 here. But it went for that. Just, I don't know if because we get the early goal that took the wind out of sails or whatever. But you've got a few chances. We dumped in chances to put the game to bed. You're getting 2 penalties. And we can't even score out of one of them. Bernardo's miss, you think this just isn't going to be our day. Needed Hart, Scales and Vickers to stand up and have decent games and make a couple of good saves, although Hart gave the ball away a couple of times. But it was ridiculous, mate. It was a terrible performance, and I'm not interested in listening to this shite about the pitch.
No, I'm not entertaining that at all. I'm not entertaining blaming the pitch for it. You can't blame the pitch. Even Castlelock boy, I think that's a new name. Nice to see you in, mate. Thanks for coming in. I mean, just before we come on there, we were talking about it, Jerry, and the 2 teams are playing on that surface.
That's exactly it, mate. And you can't blame the pitch. The pitch is absolutely ridiculous. It's been since we were up the first time when Rodgers wanted this Deso pitch or the rest of it. It's been horrendous since. Remember, it get the disease and all the rest of it.
Aye.
So it's a lot of nonsense. The pitch is the same for both teams. So I wouldn't buy that as I'm not taking that as an excuse, mate. We're rank rotten, plain and simple.
But I mean, it's not even the fact the pitch doesn't make his play slow, side to sides, pointless football.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
And it's like, even I was thinking of the day and that, it's like, right, obviously we're going to get into talking signings and stuff like that, but is signing a left back and a striker going to change the way we played yesterday?
Nah, no yesterday, mate. No,
but you get what I mean. But there's nothing. It was a full team. There's no drive in the team. There's no direction in the team. Signing a better left back or a better striker, or a different striker to Kyogo, That's not going to make any difference to the way this team's playing.
No,
Evening, Wally,
mate.
PM, thanks very much for coming in. Michael, Lee, MC, thanks a lot for coming in as well, mate.
Yep. I agree with you there, mate. I knew I left back in the strike. The whole team was kind of off yesterday. It was just one of the shite performances, and you think, especially after the result they had, I mean, getting pumped half party Thistle being bottom of the league, and you think and then we score early. You think, right, we're going to get a right good few goals here, and it was shite all round. It was a piss poor performance, flat.
And it was, let's face it as well, it was a scrappy goal.
Aye. It was.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, I'd like to think if it was still nothing each or that, do you know what I mean? We would have maybe. I'd like to think there's players in it would have stepped up, but I mean, without the goal, which was a bit of a fluke, that could have been a right bad result for us yesterday.
Aye. It's a freak result. You're a result like that, a performance like that away from having a fluid been horrific. So, and I've seen a lot of folk comment about the booing at the end and how can you boo a win or a victory? You've got a piss poor performance like that, and I'm not one of these fans that think we've got a divine right to win every game, but it's performances like that. It's below par. We shouldn't be struggling to beat them. And I think if I think a lot of people are kind of dejected about the signings side of things. I think it's been a poor window, and regardless of what happens in the next couple of days, we should have had these signings in early. And I don't want the board coming out thinking it's going to be a great window because they've signed Vickers and an extra long deal and they've kept the hold of Matt O'Reilly and try and play it that way. We should have signings in earlier than we have and get something done. But it was a poor performance yesterday, mate. There's no getting away from it.
I mean, it really was. There wasn't. You couldn't pick one plus point out of that.
No.
Jerry. Even in Rebel 86, nice to see you, mate. John Coyle, I don't know if I gave you a shout out already, but nice to see you anyway, pal. Craig Young as well.
Mm-hmm.
As I said there, for me, signings only. I'm not meaning this the way it's maybe going to sound. Obviously, I want better players and new signings and that, but the problem with it for me, for the team, isn't like in that performance yesterday. It's not got to do with personnel. It's either just.
You're hoping though that signings can give us all a wee lift.
Aye.
I mean, you're seeing with the boy Kuhn came on, everybody get a wee bit of excitement when he gets fired out to left mid when he said it himself, he's a 10 or a right mid. Granted, a professional football player should be able to kind of play in both wings, but you're hoping that if you're getting the signings, they're going to give the team a lift, and they're going to if they can give everybody a lift, they've got to get a better performance.
But if they just come on and play the same way, that's what I'm saying. If we make these signings, evening Mikey, nice to see you, Mikey, mate. Thanks very much for coming on, bud. But even that's what I'm saying, but Jerry, even if we went out the more and signed these players, is it going to change the way the team's playing? That's what I'm getting at. The excuse for me yesterday, there's no acceptable excuse for that performance yesterday for the level of players that we've got at Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm getting at. New signings isn't going to change the way we're playing if this is what Rodgers has got, if this is the way Rodgers wants us to play. I mean, Rodgers keeps coming out and saying he's been on at the players about moving the ball quicker, being a bit more dynamic than that. So is it down to the players that aren't doing what Rodgers is asking them? I mean, that's what I'm meaning. We're not going to sign 2 or 3 players in the next couple of days if they're still getting out there and still playing this same kind of football, just pointless passing it from back to side and side to side stuff. And I mean, how many times did Carter Vickers pass the ball forward and it just came straight back to him?
No, this is the thing. We've got to get the ball moving quickly and got to get it forward. That's even when Rodgers' first season here, it used to drive me down. There's no point in passing for the sake of passing. You want to hold on to the ball, but there's got to be purpose. You've got to be trying to get that ball forward. If you're passing the ball sideways or backwards or whatever, you're giving, especially in Scotland, the way these teams play, you're giving them all that extra time to set up, funnel in, and make it as compact and as difficult as you can to break them down.
They're happy to see us doing that.
Exactly.
If we're passing it between Carter Vickers and, you know what I mean, Carter Vickers to McGregor and then back to Carter Vickers, Scales, do you know what I mean? They're quite happy just sitting back and watching us doing that.
Yep, but one thing it would help us if we had a winger that could beat a man. See, go and take the man on and get to the byline and get see this cutting inside. Like, I don't know what happened. When did it become a left winger or a left-footed player is playing in the right so he can cut in? Aye, that's all wonderful, but see if they can keep them wide and use the full pitch, stop coming inside and congesting it all, especially when you're playing against compacted defences. You're trying to want to use as much space as you can and try and spread them. Actually, if we can get wingers that can take their man on and get to the byline, we've got a far better chance of going than somebody like Palmer or whatever with no pace coming inside to fanny about and lose the ball. So that's just the way I see it, mate. Some of the modern stuff today nowadays, it just I don't understand it. Cutting in and if there's space, but 9 times out of 10, when our wingers are in and get the ball, the first thing they want to do is either pass it back inside or come inside rather than beat the man and get down to that byline and get the ball across.
But who's he crossing it to?
We've scored well. How many goals has Abada scored with the late runs into the back post?
But we can't count on that as our kind of bread and butter attack, if you know what I mean, Jerry. Do you know what I mean? We can't just be having it. It's like a hopeful cross into the boat. Right? Kyogo's not going to win you much in there. We know that. Do you know what I mean? Evening, love it. Nice to see you, bud.
But the same token,
Kyogo, isn't he? But
he's wanting to play after the last man all the time. He's been a shadow. I thought he'd started to come on a game just at the tail end before the break. I thought maybe that was him coming back into things, but he likes to play off the kind of last man, and he's not getting the same chances. We're not playing out the way that suits him. To play after the last man all the time. We're not getting the ball forward quick enough. We're not finding the right passes, and he's coming too deep. I just don't think we're playing his strengths either.
It's that. I mean, for me, it's that final third of the area that we need to. Whether it's players that we've got, but again, we still need to get another striker in. Do you know what I mean? But it's not all down to that. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all. It's what we're talking about. Like Palmer's not producing much. Do you know what I mean? You can see that he's technically got ability. He's
in flashes of really goodness, like really good play. But then he said other stuff that's most frustrating as anything, and it's just pure shite.
And which is a bit like Jota was. It's his decision making. His decision making still a bit iffy. So again, he's coming good, but we don't want. He shouldn't be at a stage of hoping that a player's coming good.
No, but you've said it before. You're one of the first to say it with Jota. His decision making was the one thing that kind of stopped teams putting offers in from before, and you're hoping that it's something with more games and higher pressure fit with it. Maybe he'll get used to and get better at. But there's Brian came up with a point that players can be overcoached and end up fearful of doing something different. I think that's a thing that's come into football. I think it's like
on the Liverpool forum when Broders was the Liverpool manager. They used to call it being Brendaned.
Aye.
There was so many young players at Liverpool that Rodgers kind of tried to change their positions, and do you know what I mean? But just what they're saying, they're overcoached them.
Yep.
It never done them any good.
I know, but it's just it comes to I would want my wingers to try and get the ball down and if necessary beat their man and get to the byline and make something happen, or try and get that ball into the box for somebody coming in late, making the late runs, rather than just come inside or pass it sideways. It can be too predictable at times.
I mean, some of our attacking playing in about the box, you can see what the players are trying to do, and if it came off, it would look really good. You know what I mean? There are teams that has come off 1-2 passes and stuff like that. But again, you can't rely on that all the time and keep trying that. Do you know what I mean?
So many times it looks as if you try to score a perfect goal and walk the ball into the net. there's times I think just fucking shoot, just hit it. What's the point in all this tippy tappy stuff? Have a shot, have a pop at goal, because
The only player we've
rebound,
seen have to do
deflect,
that's
whatever.
David Turnbull. And I mean, when they were talking about Turnbull and that yesterday coming on, I was groaning, you know what I mean?
No, just.
But he's one of the
he's
few
done.
players we've got. He's one of the few players we've got that can ping a ball just outside the box and stuff like that and get us a goal.
Yep.
You'd like to think
Matt
O'Reilly, he should be hitting more shots outside the box and that as well, I reckon.
Aye, definitely.
Even Bernardo.
There's nothing up with any of them having a pop for outside. I mean, I've seen Vickers and that straightforward, and there's acres of space. I mean, run into this, carry the ball into the space and have a pop, rather than this just want to pass the ball here, there, and all the rest of it. So it's, I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens.
That's the last thing they're expecting for a Celtic team. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because as we're saying, their defenders are sitting back and they're like that. Just let them pass it. But if there's a chance that there's going to be this kind of player popping up and taking a dig, that's something that these like the opposition probably won't even give any thought to. And as you say, the ball can end up anywhere. Look at Johnson yesterday. I mean, that's a perfect example again.
Aye. So no, that's the one thing. It's even Rodgers' first time here. Some of the passing, just for the sake of passing, was ridiculous. And as I say, you've got to get the ball down and pass with a bit of purpose. There's got to be a reason behind it, rather than just hold on to the ball and try and draw teams out. Because 9 times out of 10, they're just going to sit in and let you mess about with the ball in your half or whatever. So, yesterday it was rank rotten, mate. And I've heard folk going on about the team getting booed off at the final. I don't agree with it was the team. It was getting booed off. I think the boos are more towards the board than anything else.
Well, I wouldn't have booed them off yesterday, right? But if you guys have paid their money, if you want to boo, it's up to them. If you don't, that's up to you. But
no, I wasn't one of them, mate.
But again, Terry, I'm getting back to you. It's not down to the players on that park. It's down to that's what I'm saying. But for me, yesterday, it's down to the players on that park.
The performance.
Aye.
Well, once you cross the white line, there's only so much a manager can do. This came down to the boys on the pitch, but I felt I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt.
Callum McGregor yesterday.
Aye, Peter the Pointer.
Aye.
I think we just need to put it. Hopefully, try and put it there as one of them bad day at the office. We're going to get games like that. Just move on and take it for the next. But we've got the next.
You can't win every game. You can't win every game 5-0. Do you know what I mean? Things like that.
No, that's it.
Exactly. We win the league this season, and nobody's going to say, I mind that day we scraped by against Ross County. We were shite and only beat them 1-0. Nobody will bother their backside about it.
No, that's exactly it, mate. So it's games like that they end up when you do win the league, the ones that have counted. So you need there is games we're going to need to grind out results. But yesterday was a wee bit too close for comfort. And the football was dire, and then you're hanging on at the end. You're just waiting for them to score, and it shouldn't be like that. But however, as I say, we hope we just put it down as one of the days. Bad day at the office, move on, and we get through this next run of tricky away games that we've got, and see how we fare after them.
We've got a bit of dodgy iffy run coming up, haven't we? Evening, Kev. Nice to see you, bud. Northampton, Tim. Thanks for coming in, mate.
Aye, okay. It's these things we get. They're the same away and home games for both of us. I don't believe in all this kind of fixed whatever it is. I know it's meant to be random, but you need to play the same teams away as you do home. So it does balance itself out in the end. And if you want to win the league and be the best, then these are the games you've got to need to get through and win.
It leaves our picture lane for a couple of weeks as well, I know.
Oh, honestly, it's a shambles, and I seen somebody saying how do no pinch the Dundee or the Motherwell's grounds when they see if they can do a job with ours. But I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, imagine trying to bring no that our borders that'll need to worry about trying to bring a new sign in and see that and they look at that pitch. It's like a totty field. It's an embarrassment.
Aye, it really is. It's for the money in the kind of, as we say, we're the biggest, richest club in Scotland and that. But I mean, that Deso, surely you've got some kind of, I don't know, guarantee or something like that.
Was it not shipped in for Holland or something like that? I thought it was all grown and brought in for Holland, or I don't know. That was maybe the last bit, but I know it's there's better public pitches than that.
But because it's never been right for us.
No, not since the minute they done it. Because remember, get the disease and all thing was kind of brown. It went brownie, and then they said they'd sorted that. But it's on a shambles, cuts up and all the rest of it. So the groundsmen need their arse felt for that. But then again, somebody made the point, the pitches up the training ground, if you see them, they're like bowling greens. See, they've got a couple of grass pitches up the training ground, and they're like bowling greens. So, how could they have them up there, all right, but yet the one we play on once a week or once every 2 weeks is dire.
Depends on what kind of pitch they've got up there. Maybe, you know what I mean? It's maybe no. Maybe
all that fresh air for the Campsie Hills.
Aye.
Maybe.
I mean, I know that people going about this stuff, it needs this sunlight, but we've got all the automatic lights and stuff like that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. They've got the lights to help the grass grow, but it's the grass growing worse, but the bare patches that we're needing. So, I think they'll need to get a spray paint out, sir, and get it sprayed, man, to make it look half decent.
Like that kid on here you get in a can and that.
I wouldn't know. Maybe in a couple of years, hide the eagle's nest.
But it's definitely. I know we're moaning about transfers and stuff like that, but for me, the pitch is an important part of it. Not just Celtic, any club. You want your team and your players to be playing on the best surfaces possible.
Aye, of course.
And that's very, 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 very far-fetched. You see, when you look at places like Motherwell and that.
Aye.
And you can't. And they blame the weather. I mean, I've seen a few people blaming the weather and the recent downpours and all that in Glasgow and all that. But I mean, Hamilton, Motherwell's only take 15 minutes down the road. It's not as if they're the opposite side of the country, the size of America. So any rain that's been falling in Glasgow has been falling on the Motherwell pitch as well.
Listen, their pitch doesn't look too shabby across the water. So I don't buy that. And if you have decent groundsmen, they're going to take all this shit into consideration when they're dealing with the pitch. So nah, I'm no. It's a shambles.
Aye, something that needs looked at in the summer, in my opinion, 100%.
Again, I know, but there's who was it? I think Bobby said it was in 2017 that done, and it's had one upgrade since. But it's embarrassing. But don't be wrong. See, yesterday there was a couple of times the ball did pop up, and it's you'd put that down to that bobbly, shitey pitch. But as I say, that's just something else.
It's like a pizza crunch without the
batter. Aye, but it'll need looked at and hopefully get it sorted once and for all.
Evening, Robert Baker. Nice to see you again, mate.
What about JFP's? His blood pressure came down for yesterday.
I don't know. I've not heard from him. No, he's not about in the live chat or that.
Aye, I'll need to see him because I've got the yellow tie looked out for Wednesday's pod
for Wednesday night.
Aye, live for Celtic Park.
Can you imagine JFP standing outside Celtic Park Wednesday night?
Wait for a new sign.
Absolutely raging, my face tripping them, soaking wet.
Aye,
the bash supper.
Screaming for baby Law to come out to speak to him.
Aye, I'm having you. Hello, your teeth out.
Do you think we'll get MD else in?
Aye, I do. I definitely do. I think there's maybe be something in this the Sydney Van Hooijdonk deal.
Aye. Wait, have you seen his stats or that? Have you seen anything of him? I'm only going by.
I've actually watched a few games and all that. I mean, he's not a world beater. I mean, it's just he's moved to Italy's no worked too well. But apart from that, I mean, he's scored a few goals at other places he's been. Do you know what I mean? In Holland and places like that. So for me, we could get worse.
Aye.
I would rather sign Sidney Van Hooijdonk than that. I can't even mind his name. Me and Mikey keep talking about him. I can't. But who's him that was wanted £8 million for him? That
Brondby boy.
Aye.
No. He's too. You're wanting something different for Kyogo. I think Van Hooijdonk's going to be a bit of a unit, so they'll be a wee bit different for Kyogo. So we'll maybe get a couple of balls into the box and he'll maybe put them away if he does come. But do you think we'll get a left back in?
I will see like that. I'm thinking that would probably be a loan. I maybe think that's going to be a loan.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, if that's what just needs to be,
The tide is over.
Aye.
See, that's everybody's saying that now, but
the Van Hooijdonk. I'm just going to say there, Van Hooijdonk's was kind of available, but Bologna were waiting. Bologna's way, they were waiting on getting this replacement, and he's only signed for them like 2 days ago or something. I don't even know if he's arrived out in Italy yet. So I'm thinking, has that been the hold up in getting Van Hooijdonk in? If Henky saying, will you be calling him Baby Van Hooijdonk? We probably will, Henky, call him Baby Van Hooijdonk, or just Baby Pierre. But if that's been, and again, if that's who Celtic and Rodgers has agreed on, and they've been told, look, you need to wait till we get the replacement guy in, some Argentinian boy, Versa Sarsfield or something, the club's called me and Mikey were talking about it yesterday. But if that's been the case that we've had to wait for that, that's out of Celtic's control.
Aye.
Do you go know what I mean? See, in a way, we're not desperate for signings to come in, but just if this has been who we've been wanting this window, Baby Van Hooijdonk, then maybe that's been the hold up. Bologna were waiting on this replacement signing before they were wanting to let him go. So just need to maybe bide our time and see what happens over the next few days. I definitely do think there'll be at least a loan or left back coming in.
See, that's the thing. A couple of weeks ago, we were all saying all these loans with no option to buy is short-sighted. But this is and I'd say if this gets us to the end of the season and you win the league, then so be it, and we need to go again. I'll take it because this winning this league this season's our bread and butter. That's all it comes down to. Nothing else kind of matters. We must win this league, and we shouldn't be in this position. But unfortunately, we can't keep going over the same ground and having the same moments because nothing's changing. We're just going to need to get on with it.
I'm quite confident, honestly, because I mean it's going back to the way Rodgers has spoke about stuff, and Mikey coming on. Hello, stranger. Mikey.
Here's all right.
Aye. How you doing, bud?
I'm just sitting at the computer and I seen the link come up, so I thought I'd come on for 5 minutes before I need to go to my bed.
Hey, bother. How you feel, Mikey, about it?
It's just dire straits, is it? Like, I understand what everybody's saying. Like, you need to get the games in the beginning. Celtic could have easily lost that game yesterday.
Yep.
That's the sad thing about it. Against Ross County at him. So.
Just before we came on, I was saying to Jerry, the fact they get beat off Partick Thistle 3-0 and get beat off Aberdeen 3-0, and as you said, Mikey, we were kind of lucky to get away with the 3 points out of that game yesterday.
Yeah, that's like obviously 3 points is 3 points, but like I understand what fans are saying about the booing at full time and everything. I put up a post earlier on the forum. It's not so much booing against the players on the pitch; it's booing against everything that Celtic are as a club just now. Like it says, just the dealing to top to bottom, it's just dire. Like I said to you, Mark. By the summer, we've needed a goalkeeper, a left back, a striker, and what was 28th of January now, and still nothing.
I couldn't agree more.
Like it's just a sad state of affairs. Like the Celtic fans are just getting took for a ride. Like it says, they missed money for season tickets. Like the money that the fans are putting into the club, they deserve better. And people say, "Oh, top of the league, still in the Scottish Cup, blah blah blah." you got to look at the bigger picture, like
If they had
John,
addressed
John says that all the time as well. Do you know what I mean, Mike? It's like John gives up his season ticket, there's somebody to take it. But when does the well run dry? Do you know what I mean? The amount of
he's not
talks you
unlike
managed
Mark,
to
like,
buy,
says for
you
last-
want to. I mean,
like,
what
for
talk
last
was it
few
making you had in your basket and then you just says,
I
I'm
think,
not going to give
I
you money
think
for
it was
that.
earlier in the I think it was earlier in the season. They brought out an white top, I think it was, or something. I can't remember. It was some centenary top, and the more I thought about it, it was like, nah, too much money that they're getting. Like,
See, the thing is, Mike, you see if they'd addressed these positions in the summer that we all knew needed addressed, there's a chance we're still in Europe and we're well out of sight in the league. And it's we're back here on the 28th, a couple of days to the transfer window shuts. Still no left back. Talks of a striker coming in. Our left back's injured. We're an injury away for Kyogo for being in dire straits. The keeper can now probably wait to the summer. I seen Brighton signed that boy that we were linked with for $3 million. I think Icelandic keeper.
Aye, the Icelandic boy, aye.
So it's
So he must have been
shocking.
decent. I know a bit if Brighton went from.
Aye, it was Brighton or Brentford. So
but it's one of the money ball kind of. You
Aye.
know what I mean? They don't. We spoke about them. They don't sign fucking rubbish. It's always stat-driven signings and stuff like that.
That's it. And look where we are, and we've still not had these 3 problem areas addressed. And that's, I think, what the fans were booing at more than the team, because there's no other way to vent your anger at that bloody board than I don't know. It's just shambolic from top to bottom.
That's what the guys in the chat, like Martin says, like Taylor's seen off £23 million worth of left backs. It's not about that, mate. Like he says, the fact is we're left backs injured, and we're starting a boy at left back that since day dot at Celtic Burnaby, he's never had a look in, and he's obviously no good enough. This is the problem. Like you should say 2 for every position.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, and I know, and Taylor's big. Like he says, even the picture I've got, Taylor's one of my favourite players at Celtic. He gives everything, but like you can't, the guys. He's a very good player, but to have one left back, like I say, people are on about Scales and everything. That Scales wasn't deemed good enough years ago, and somehow he's the stalwart at the back line all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like the guy's obviously knocking his pan and everything for Celtic, but there's players playing for Celtic just now that never got a look in a few years back, and there was a reason for that. They weren't good enough back then, and they're not good enough now.
Well, I'd agree with that. I said to you, mate, yesterday, Mikey, Scales had a brilliant season. I'm not disputing that, but
yeah, it was like Ralph.
For me, he's fell into that kind of category. He's good enough in the kind of the Scottish League and that, but maybe getting into the Champions League. So you're looking for. I've said it before. I'm looking for us to sign a better centre half than Carter Vickers to play beside Carter Vickers. Do you get what I mean?
I was surprised, like saying again. Everybody will probably they'll know like what we're going to see here. Again, Mark, we talked about it. I think it was yesterday. Carter Vickers signing a new deal and everything. I think it was maybe just me. Like you're only as good as how many games you can play, and I don't think he's as good as what people think he is. Like, the boy's made a chop. He's more injured than he plays. Like I said, in Europe he got found out. Like Van Dijk and everything, they stood out. They kind of players. Like Carter Vickers hasn't stuck out to me in Europe. Scales was better than Carter Vickers in Europe.
I'd agree with that.
Can everybody's on about, it's great to sign a new deal, but how many games are you going to play this season? What, 10, 15 when he's fit? And but again, people probably think I'm being too harsh, but I didn't see what everybody else sees in him.
It's just realistic. I wouldn't say you're being harsh. We've had this conversation. I've said it as well. Celtic we should be looking to improve on every position. But for me, Carter Vickers wasn't that. He still isn't that great a defender for me. If I was talking to one of Liverpool lads about him, he was asking us about him a couple of weeks ago, and I said, see when Celtic's running the game, like we're not getting hassled in that stuff kind of thing. He glides about the park like Maldini. Do you know what I mean? He didn't when we've got the ball and we're cruising and passing it about and pinging the ball about. But if you're maybe, I don't know, say a club, maybe a kind of mid-level pub league team, like say, who's in the middle of that, say like West Ham. That Carter Vickers couldn't get down there and play for West Ham, where they spend a lot of time having to defend. He doesn't command the area. You never see him organising things. Do you know what I mean? He's no that kind of defender for me. And
Going back,
Celtic
like, so
could
what-
easily improve on the centre back department. Easily.
right, going back to
2 seconds, Mike. Evening, CJ. Nice to see you, buddy.
going back to it's just what you were talking about earlier on about like Sydney Van Hooijdonk again. I'm going back to yesterday, Mark, when I was talking about, like you said, that the guy was coming for Vélez Sarsfield for Bologna and we're going to be getting him. I genuinely didn't understand why we're getting it. Like, if you change Van Hooijdonk's second name to another Dutch name, would Celtic supporters be up and happy about bringing him in based on his stats at previous clubs?
Well, I'd rather
I mean,
have him than that other boy, Mikey, who can't pronounce
Yeah,
the
no,
name.
but Garston for Brøndby. But
Aye.
like he says, he's like he says, that was. I just think that was pie in the sky for. I don't think they were ever even interested in him. But why are they going like? There's a striker in the Premier League just now that would be crying it for, and whether he's a Rangers fan or no, and that's Shankland. He's a stick on for us to sign for Celtic. See the goals that he'd bang in for Celtic. I don't care why he's sports and whatever and dealing with hearts, blah blah blah. Just go and sign the guy that's proven. I said that these loans at the time. Just go and sign the boy. He'll score. Fuck knows how many goals a season, mate.
Aye.
Everybody's got different opinions and that.
No, especially Mikey, you know what I mean? Because we're looking for somebody that we know that can come in. I've said that 100 times on the podcast that they don't even need to hammer that Miovski for Aberdeen. They don't even need to move house. You know what I mean? They move to Celtic, so there are no big upsurge and upsets to their life and stuff like that.
I mean, how many goals would Shankland score yesterday?
And aye, but the thing, and that's what we keep saying, and even JFP says it. Right, supposing he supports them and he's this and he's that, but you'll never know unless you ask the question.
Do you think he'll end up at them?
No.
If he goes to them, then that's a major dent to Celtic, in my opinion. Like, because I actually rate the boy quite highly. People say, "Oh, he's not that quick or anything." And that Gary Hooper, and that wasn't quick, or that Scott McDonald wasn't quick, but they could put the ball in the goal, and that's what they're there to do. But like, I mean, obviously Jonas has been on loads of times. United, even at United, the guy stood at a mile for United. He bailed them right out. Like, the guy kens where the goals is, and that's what Celtic are crying out for. You know what I mean? It doesn't always need to be a fancy foreign name. At the time, maybe there's somebody on the doorstep that you can just go and get.
I agree with that.
But would he come to Celtic, Mikey, and risk his place in his Euro squad for Scotland? Actually,
I
thought
think
he played for Northern Ireland, doesn't he?
I think he'd play more than you'd think. Kyle knows exactly setting the header like just now, is he? With goals. I know you say, "Oh, well, he's playing deeper, blah blah blah." He's still playing up front. He's still getting chances.
Yeah. I think he would get chances. I think he would score goals here, and I think he would still be guaranteed to be going to the Euros regardless of what happened between now and the end of the season, because they know he can put the ball in the back of the net. And I don't think he's got much competition for up front here, is he? For Scotland, is he?
No, like I say, I watched Scotland. Obviously, I go to again and went to Germany, and that in a few months. And even though I think it was against Georgia, he came on in like 90 plus minutes and managed to get a last minute goal for Scotland. He's dangerous,
That's what we're crying out for. But I reckon he'd have got a goal at least yesterday anyway, with the chances, especially with the ball bobbling about that box. I would sign him, and I've said it as well. It doesn't always need to be fancy names for abroad. I had one to Lewis Ferguson when he was there. The same with the boy Aaron Hickey. But not. I was getting called a few things in the forum for wanting either of them. But they've done a job for us now, and we couldn't afford them.
The two main names for me was Ferguson and Josh Doig. They were the two that I wanted that were in Scotland.
See, I never seen enough of him.
Doig, he's obviously went to Hibs to Verona, and he just signed for Sassuolo now. Like, I knew that he was going to go into a decent career.
Well, that's the thing. He was available, and Celtic could have went and put the money down and signed him. And it's what they go for $4 million.
Yeah.
So I don't even think it was as much as that Ferguson went for.
No, we're talking about
Doig.
Oh, Doig, right,
aye. So she was available there. We could have signed him this window for what, $4 million. And as we said before, 4 for, say for talk's sake, 5 or 6 for Miovski or whatever it is, or 3 or 4 for Shankland. 10 million for the two of the players that could pretty much kick you on and win this league.
Josh
Makes
Doigan, that's the
perfect
thing.
sense to me.
That's the thing. We look like Ferguson and Doigan. That they're regulars in Serie A. Like
Yep.
especially Doig playing in a defence in an Italian team. He must say something if he's playing every game like this.
Aye, agreed.
I
So-
think that's kind of slip. I think that's maybe twice we've let him slip through the fingers, that Doig. Definitely.
I was surprised.
I'd definitely like to think we were even, what we're saying there, but at least offered it or inquired about it. Maybe Disney want to move back to Scotland. Maybe, do you know what I mean, for any reason. But again, you'd like to think Celtic would have at least been in touch with his agent to see if he was interested, wouldn't you?
No, it's mental. You could have got Ferguson and Doig for what they basically paid for Bernabei.
Oh, don't start. I know. It's
That's
ridiculous.
that
But
is
then
mental, eh?
we've had this before in the pod. Who's to blame for this?
I just don't understand. Like you say, you always start on your own doorstep, eh? Like they say, there's no many Scottish players out there that you would say, right, he did get in the team. But Doig, Hickey, Ferguson, they're players that you would have said at the time. They'd get in the team, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So
And at least be good, and at least be snap them about the heels to get it. They would come in and like even when they were leaving, like Aberdeen and Hibs, Mikey, there were players. I mean, Ferguson for me would have come in and been probably a first team starter. I don't know that much about Doig, but it'd have at least been near a challenge in the first round about the first team squad.
The good thing about Doig is he plays left and right back. It was the same as Hickey. They both play left and right back.
Yep.
So
Hickey for me was the no-brainer.
And he was at Celtic too.
Aye.
He left when he was young and moved on. Eh?
But I think his old man could have forced that because he didn't see that. What I gather, he didn't think there was going to be a path into the first team because KT was there, and I don't think they expected him to leave when he did. So he went to Hearts for the games.
It's like Andy Robertson and players like that. But these players have became the players they were. If they'd stayed at Celtic, just stagnated playing in the reserves or this B-League stuff and that, do you know what I mean? Even Estapona, boy, nice to see you. They're
That's what I said,
well,
Mark,
even turns.
They're playing against teams like that, Bucky Thistles, you know what I mean? That's the level they'll be playing at. But I do think Hickey's always kind of had something about him.
I love the Scotland. Like I say, I love Scotland, and they'll always be like I say, go to the games and everything. And I would love a core. I've said it loads of times on the forum. I'm probably boring people, but even Mark gets I think bored with it when I talk about it. I'd love Celtic to have a Scottish core to the team, like Scott Angus Gunn in the goal. I again, people didn't like McKenna. I think he's a good centre back, and I can only see what I've seen for Scotland. He's very good for Scotland. You could have McGregor, and you could have like a core of Scottish players that are more than good enough to play for Celtic, and it would be major improvement on what we've got just now. But again, it's all opinions, is it? And that's what we're here for.
Aye, exactly. I can understand where you're coming from. We're having a good core, Celtic and a good core of Scottish players, because they know what it's about. But the McKenna ones, I don't know. For me, I thought he would give you his all, but
he's a bit rough. He's a bit like say. I understand what people. He is a bit rough. He's certainly no Maldini on the bar. Like, I wouldn't say he was certainly cultured, but I tell you one thing, he'd run through a brick wall for you, like
I know that's it.
Which is one of the things we're missing. A bit of
he's a presence. Like he says, if you
team.
paired Carter Vickers with him, it's like the Carter Vickers as a sweeper and McKenna beside him. That's the kind of defender he is. Like he'll just go and win everything for you, and you can just sweep up behind them. But a lot of people just base him on seeing him two or three games against Celtic in the season when he played. You can't base him on that. I've seen him a lot more than that for Scotland. And at the end of the day, if you're even in the Scotland squad, you've got something.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm indeed. Good evening, lads. How are we on?
I'm good. Yeah, thanks for coming on, bud.
No worries.
Patrick Mealy, thanks for coming in again tonight, mate. Nice to see you.
Yeah, Mark, I'll go and shoot off just because I'll shoot off because, like you say, there's a lot of Terence and all the other guys say their piece now, and you don't want too many cooks. So
not at all. See you later,
I'll let you crack on, and I'll still listen in, and I'll catch you all later. All right.
Cheers, mate. All the best.
Good night, mate.
Cheers. Yeah.
See you, Michael.
So, what did you think of yesterday, then, Ter? I know you're always a wee happy-go-lucky type of guy.
It was a dreadful watch, wasn't it? I mean, the weather was probably the happiest thing I've seen in it. Like, You know, it was so bad to watch. Like, I mean, the penalties kind of summed it up. The second one was actually worse than the first one, which is hard to believe. But I mean, just all round. I mean, it's a game that by the end of it, you're praying they hold on instead of being 3 or 4-0 up at a game. And it's just the pace of it at times is baffles me, and to be honest, a little bit of the style at times baffles me as well, Mark, because you have no business playing Kyogo up front if you're going to continually play football like that. There's Kyogo's best thing is off the last man and getting the ball quickly either out to the wings and they're whipping it in low, or else playing balls through down the sides for him. They don't seem to do that anymore. Obviously, that's down to the management. They want to play a particular style. Fair enough. But my God, it's like I thought after the couple of games where they had against Kilmarnock and Hearts, I thought maybe they've turned after that when they came back and they played well against Rangers and okay, no Bucky Thistle, but still they looked like they were good intensity and everything about it. But yesterday was dour. Like they were like it's terrible to say that they scraped the 1-0 win against Ross County, because the Ross County guy that headed it off the crossbar missed an open goal as well. Like he should have buried that. Like I thought it was very, very poor, to be honest. Less to get away with a win.
I don't think we can really disagree with any of that, can we, Jerry? Or we have Jerry Bolt it. Yeah, that's exactly, Terence, I said at the start. I thought, for me, it's one of the worst performances for a Celtic team in a long, long time. And I know we've been, as you said, we've been playing well and doing no bad and stuff like that, but that yesterday was just back to being it was reminiscent of the last Muncie Rodgers, wasn't it?
I was just going to say that as well, Mark. It was very, very similar.
Even a bit reminiscent to the last month to Ange.
Yeah. It just looked like at times players. This is going to sound funny in the way I'm saying it, but players just looked like they were passing for the sake of passing. There didn't seem to be any direction to what they were trying to do. Like there was a lot of just, again, like, I mean, there seems to be a huge emphasis, and I don't understand this. There seems to be a huge emphasis on scales, bringing out the ball and nearly dictating the play. Like, I mean, what's McGregor doing? He's meant to be the sitting holding midfielder. He should be demanding the ball and he should be driving for. Maybe this again is the way they want it to be played, but I think if you're doing that, it does negate McGregor to an extent, because you're getting Scales or Carter Vickers and they're going right up to the halfway line and they look like they're the guys making the passes and stuff like that. I don't know. I thought it was very poor. I mean, Palma, I like him. He's got something about him, but my God, he's as easy as a book to read. Like every time he gets the ball, you could know he's going to cut in. I don't understand it. Like if he has to cut in all that time, then I would just say put Palma in the other wing, put Palma in the right wing. I don't like this cutting in, because you're for me, your crowd, you're going back into where all the defenders are, like,
Yep, I agree, mate.
You want your wingers to begin your fullbacks. They're gambling. They've got a 50-50 gamble. Are they going to take them down the outside, or are they going to cut inside?
Yeah, but you know what Palmer's going to do every time.
It's just so predictable. Do you know what I mean? There's no variation to it, and it's because even if you notice, even if Palmer will only take it down to the byline, he'll hit it out. Well, usually it's like Greg Taylor in overlap kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So the defender knows this guy's never got to try and take me to the outside. He's never going to do it, so he always knows exactly what Palmer and even a bad for it as well, what they're going to do.
But if you watch the fullbacks as well, Mark, even at the minute, not that I'm by any stretch of imagination an expert on this, but they literally they shape their body to allow them to go inside. To literally go to Palma. They kind of shape up to Palma or whoever it is to allow them to go inside, because they know they've got cover.
Yep.
And rather than the winger, just. I mean, I know the German lad that came on, he had a few runs down the wing and he looked a little bit more direct, but it's very early doors. But I don't understand. If you want to play that way, that's fine. But you can't have a Kyoga there. He's crossing the balls into him as slow as stagnant as the pace is. I don't know how many headers has Kyoga ever scored for Celtic? Like,
Yep.
you know, I don't know. I think they were just. It was one of the worst forms I've seen in a long time yesterday.
I agree with what you've said, Ter. I'm the same as you. The defender, if the defender knows he's cutting in all the time, then that's half the battle. But then they're always cutting back into where all the trouble is, rather than try to go down the outside and get the ball across. So I couldn't agree more with you. But the performance yesterday was, I think it was what we'll just need to put it down to a bad, hopefully just put it down to a bad day at the office and move on and see what happens in the next few games. And hopefully by the next time we play, we've got a couple of signings in the door. I
don't think there'll be any signings, Jerry.
Oh, don't burst my bubble now. I can hear JFP screaming and shouting. Well, it's a Sunday night there. We're back at work tomorrow, so let's just have a wee bit of positivity and hope that we're going to get 4 or 5 signings in deadline day.
Oh man, I said it the last day. No, I'd say if we get one. No, I'd say if we get one loan, I'd be surprised. And that's the God's honest truth.
We've got to cover it. If we don't get covered at left back, man, it's an absolute disgrace. We must. I mean, it's Bernaby. Christ, it's been horrific. Mikey said it. He wasn't good enough after the first couple of games. We could see that. And I think we're going to rely on him for the next, however, 3 to 6 weeks, and hope that we're still going to be out in front and in the cup. Granted, I would sacrifice the cup if it meant winning the league. But if we're going to try and rely on him, and I've seen people saying Scales to left back, but he's been our best defender this season, so you know what to take him away for centre half. So no, I think
it seems to be a bit questionable whether Scales is actually any good at left back. Terence, have you ever seen him playing at left back for Ireland or that?
No. He played. I think he played a little bit for Shamrock Rovers, but
but I don't think
if it's not broke, Mark, don't fix it.
Aye.
Do you know he's been the one thing that's been solid in the centre back position. You know, he's been there pretty much all season when Carter Vickers has gone out or Larga Bielka's come in or Rocky's come in, but Scales has been that stability that's always been there. Why then take him out?
Exactly.
To go to left back. You'd be better off playing Anthony Ralston at left back than moving Scales out there.
Well, we done that, didn't we?
Yeah, they done that. So,
even Miles, nice to see you. Sorry if I missed you there, but nice to see you in.
But the problem, Jerry, that I would have is, and I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but the issue with left back was still there in the summer. They didn't resolve it then.
Totally. This is what we're saying. It was, if they had addressed the 3 positions that we all knew were needed in the summer, left back, striker, and goalkeeper, we're out of sight in the league and we're still in Europe. I know, if we take Europe first, some of the mistakes that we made were shite, but we had problems coming down the left, goalkeeper. I think Vickers got an easy time with a couple of the goals that we gave away in Europe. But if we had strengthened at left back and goalkeeper, striker, I have no doubt in my mind we'd still be in Europe and we'd be a lot further ahead in the league. So it's why it's still not been addressed now or yet is beyond me. And I know people say, well, why would you want to say your second choice the now if you can get your first choice in the summer? That's all very well and good, but we've got to think about the here and now, which is going to get us through to the end of the season. Because if we let them win this league and forego the new Champions League, the money and everything that's coming with it, I think from where they've came to now, if we had to let that happen, I just think it'd be an absolute shambles. It makes a total mockery of the fans and paying all the money. I mean, they're quick enough to ask for season ticket money, money for this, money for that, bringing out umpteen strips, but yet they want to sit in piles of cash and no reinvesting in a team. They can't even say they're spending at the pitch because the pitch is a shambles as well. So it's beyond me, mate. Absolutely beyond me.
But just to go back to one of your points, I was listening to you there as well when I heard obviously Michael talking, and in fairness, he's unbelievable depth and knowledge of the football side of things, especially the European stuff. But talking about the Scottish guys that he was talking about, the Fergusons, the Dykes, and a few others, like I said it before and I said it again, and I just posted it in there a while ago. There's a snobbery there. There's a snobbery there. If Celtic went to sign someone from Aberdeen or someone from Hibs, they'd be literally like, why are they signing him? He's rubbish. And you had people then doing silly stuff like they didn't want to sign Lewis Ferguson because who Lewis Ferguson was.
Mm-hmm.
Not anything to do with what Lewis Ferguson can contribute to Celtic, but you can't sign him. Why? His dad is Derek Ferguson. His uncle is Barry Ferguson. Right, what's your point? What's your point? Like, if he's half as good as Barry Ferguson, we run a winner. But there's that narrow-mindedness that goes with there as well. And I don't know. Look at those players that you said, Hickey and Doy and Ferguson and John McGinn down the line, and there's so many guys that Celtic have just literally let slip through their fingers. Like those, Lewis Ferguson should be in the Celtic midfield. Maybe he might be sold on, but he should have been in the Celtic midfield. No question about it. Like,
yeah.
I genuinely don't think, though, Jerry, that they're going to sign a left back. I don't. I genuinely don't. I think if they get one player on loan, that'd be about as far as they go. I think what you'll find, they'll come out with the PR that we tried to sign so and so. We tried to sign so and so, but we couldn't get the deal finalised over the last day or two. That's what I think. That's what it's going to come out with. Like,
same shite you hear all the time. I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more with you there. It's a certainty that shite will come out. And it's the same as you hear stuff coming out at when they're wanting season ticket renewals, and then the money's all in, it goes quiet again. But I wouldn't mind going to Martin. He's asked the question a couple of times. Guys asked the same question. Taylor has seen off £23 million of international left backs. Who's coming to sit on the bench? Martin, you're not telling me that Taylor is the best that we can get at left back.
Sign better than Taylor, and Taylor sits in the bench.
What's that? Sorry.
Sign somebody that's better than Taylor, and then Taylor sits in the bench.
Of course, if we'd signed Doig, there's a fair chance that Taylor would be sitting on the bench. But that's if you look at the level of left backs that we've signed since Taylor's came. I mean, Bernabe. I mean, he's horrific. There's a reason he's sitting. He doesn't even get in the squad. So we should be looking to improve on every single player that we've got. We've said this umpteen times, but we should be able to afford or be able to sign a better quality left back than Taylor, in my opinion. And Mike, as I say, he knows far better about the footballers out there than I do. But by all accounts, Doig's a far better player than Taylor. A bit different, maybe not as attack-minded, but I think there's a high chance we'll get a better quality left back than Taylor.
To be honest, Jerry, you'd get a
2 seconds, Taylor.
Sorry.
Even in Daniel McAlpine, boy from South Africa there, I feel gutted to have them. I'm hearing about my team, hail. We're just moaning face gets, mate. Don't worry about it. We'll win 6-0 up at Aberdeen next week. Nothing will be hunky-dory. Just all moaning men. That's all we are. Don't
Speak for yourself.
But there isn't one player on the Celtic team, Jerry, that couldn't be improved, as in a signing.
Totally. I agree entirely. We should be looking to get better. That's the only way the team's going to progress and get better and improve and stop getting our arse handed to us in Europe. But again, if I keep saying it, if we had signed a left back, goalkeeper, striker, then I feel after 3 games in that Champions League, we were sitting. We could have been top of this league if only we had improved in the summer. And then you get your ass handed to you in the next couple of games and you're out.
What you blaming Greg Taylor for in the Champions League?
Well, there's a couple. I know we've got to go back to Atletico and you're going to blame Vickers, aren't you? With the dived into the nasty cell. Aye, there's that. Listen, I'm not just blaming Taylor, but for me, he's our weakest link in that back four. See, granted, this season so far, right, Vickers and AJ haven't been at the same level.
No,
they were
AJ's
at
been
last
really
season.
poor this season, hasn't he?
However, if hypothetical, we're going with Vickers back to his best, AJ back to his best, in the way Scales was playing. Taylor's my weak link. He's the position that everybody targets. I know there's a lot of people out there, JFP, Mikey as well. The wee man gives his all, but for me, I don't know. I'm not a massive Taylor fan, and I really do think we can get better than him. I really do. And goalkeeper goes without saying that a few of the goals we conceded in Europe. I mean, Big Joe let himself down, and I think he would hold his hands up. Again, he's done it a couple of times in the league this season as well. For a keeper his size and build and stature, it doesn't control his box for me and command his box. But hey ho, that's how I'm a fat plumber, and he's Mr. Rogers is earning a few quid for picking the players for Celtic to play. So we'll wait and see, mate.
But I also think,
Kieran, we love Taylor on here. We're just being realistic, but no, we don't blame him. We know he gives his all, and that just we could do better than Taylor.
I would give him it all if I was playing.
Aye,
I'd give him all if I was playing. But there's giving your all, and there's been good enough to be a Celtic left back in Europe. That's where I'm going to judge it.
But I don't disagree with what you're saying, Jerry. But I also think that the wingers get away with a lot in regards to helping out. If you like, the majority of times when Taylor plays against Rangers, he normally has a pretty good game, if not a very good game on a lot of occasions. And a lot of it's down to the fact that Moyed is in front of him.
Yep, exactly.
Who tracks back? Palma doesn't track back. Palma's in the same mold as Jota in that side of it, who rarely tracks back. And when that happens, especially in Europe, you've normally got their full back and their right wing or whatever is tearing down in Taylor. Now, I'm not trying to make a get out of jail card for Taylor, but he doesn't get protection that he should get. They don't play with it. Celtic don't play with a CDM, and they sometimes the fullback or the wingers like their Palmers and Jotas of old don't track back. They come back, but not at the way they should come back. Not the way like Moyeda might track back. So I
just jogging back to cover ground to make sure it shows up in their maps. That kind of it's like a sympathetic effort to get back. It's like, oh look, I tried to get back, but really, did you? And so I think at times then Taylor's exposed, and it's like it can happen in Scotland as well. Like I guarantee if we were playing Rangers next week and Palma started, they'd target Palma. They'd target that side because they know Palma wouldn't get back with if it was Tavernier and whoever be on their wing. I don't know who's on their wingers, and went bombing down the side. Palma doesn't get back to double up with Taylor to defend, and that's why a lot of times you'll see Moyeda there because he'll always do it. Moyeda will run all day. So I'm not saying it's the sole reason, but there's a factor there as well. Like,
I don't know if Martin's Taylor's agent or no, but I watched the Champions League game, mate. I was at them, so I did watch them. But for me, if Taylor's is our left back, and that's the best we can possibly get, then dearie me, it's a sad state of affairs. The wee man gives his all, but if you put any one of us in a Celtic jersey, I'm pretty certain any of us would give us our all. So giving your all.
That, Jerry. Right, what you're saying there. But
giving your all, no good enough.
Aye, but to the same extent, if you can't say that Cal McGregor showed up for the Champions League for us.
No. I would have said.
For me, Cal McGregor in the Champions League is poor as Taylor is. Playing that CDM, no, in any European game, Cal McGregor, the weakest thing in the Celtic team playing in Europe is Cal McGregor playing that CDM playmaking role. That we've not got any defensive cover in the midfield. That's the weakest point in the Celtic team. As long as Cal McGregor,
he's not CDM.
But they're playing him there in Europe and they keep getting caught out. See, he's as weak in Europe as Greg Taylor is.
But he might be giving his all at CDM.
Right, but fair dues.
But Taylor's a left back.
Aye, but you're saying he's the weakest member, the weakest target in the team in Europe.
It's a certainty. If we'll watch the games, it's a certainty. He is targeted every team.
Target it.
Yep.
Right,
Why would you target our best player then? You don't. You go for the weakest link, and it's Taylor. I just don't think he's a Celtic left back.
Taylor. No, I see in Europe, I totally get that. Honestly, I do at the Champions League, but we're blaming a guy that's come through. We're going about, right, and maybe it is a bit kind of even snobbery in that again, but we're talking about a guy that came from Kilmarnock playing for Celtic, right? And then he's playing with players that have cost multi-million pounds and stuff like that. And fair dues, he's gaining his all. In Europe, he struggles. But you can't tell me Cal McGregor doesn't struggle in Europe as much as Taylor does.
The whole team does.
Callum McGregor is terrible at Europe. See, playing in that number 6 role, whatever you want to call it, the CDM role or whatever, until Celtic address that position and get Callum McGregor moved out of there, we can sign any amount of players we want and nothing's going to change as long as we play Callum McGregor in that position. Because he's not got a hope in hell, he can't tackle, for one thing. How many times does he get left just chasing shadows about that kind of the opposition's number 10 spot? How many times do we see Cal McGregor just left there chasing shadows of his wild kicks about and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. No, that's not a slight on Callum McGregor. For me, that's a slight on Celtic managers' tactics. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. We've said it before. He's a lot better further forward. He's not a CDM and he gets left exposed. But for me, I can understand why people like Taylor. He gives his all, he tries, but for me, he's limited. And I don't think he's, as much as he tries his best, he's limited. I don't think he's good enough for us in Europe to number 1 left back. And I would like, if it was me, that's the position I would upgrade. I know JFP is wanting, he's not really, he loves Taylor, I know that. And he's just looking for competition. But for me, I'd be wanting somebody that's better than him. If I'm bringing a player in,
I totally agree with that.
The boy I'm bringing him in.
I totally agree with that. Going forward for the Champions League, I want Celtic to have a better left back. I want them to have a better centre back.
Yep.
Better centre forward.
I want them going to say that. I want them to have a better striker. I want them to have a better CDM.
Yep.
I want them just to have a CDM, Mark.
Well, that even down to that, any kind of CDM's got to be better, and that'll let McGregor play his kind of natural game.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, McGregor's a brilliant player. I think he could probably play for 99% of clubs in the world, apart from maybe even the highest level. But see him playing in that CDM role. That for me, that's kind of killed his career a bit. I don't think McGregor's ever kind of became the player that he should have, and I think that's held him back playing in that position.
No, you've said, I think you said it last season on one of the chats, that it's because I think he's been willing to play wherever and whenever for Celtic. It's hindered him, and his best games have been playing further forward. And even get back to playing aside Bruni when it was 4-2-3-1.
And I'd love Rodgers to go back to that formation. Honestly, people going about this the 3-5-2 and that's a bit outdated in that now. I don't think it's the kind of thing that, even in Europe, all you need is big long diagonal balls to the corners and you're kind of
you're stretched.
Aye. But I would like to see Rodgers go back to a 4-2-3-1. Even the players we've got to know, you could put a 4-2-3-1 in there together. I mean, imagine your back four, Juranovic, Carter, Vickers, Scales, and Taylor. Right, I know he's injured now. I'm just talking hypothetically, the players at the club now. You've got your two in McGregor and O'Reilly, Hatate, McGregor and O'Reilly, Hatate and Bernardo. Think of the permutations you could get. The players we've got that you could change the number 10 with. You've got Hatate, you've got probably Bernardo could play that, probably O'Reilly could. Kyogo, I'd like to see him in that number 10 role. I'd like to see Palma in that number 10 role. And you mix and match it, but Kyogo couldn't play the striker in that 4-2-3-1. If you went to that would be the kind of weakest link, because he is again our only striker. And that's why I've said all along, I think I'm not saying O's going to make it with Celtic, but to me, physically and the way he plays the game is a bit more Brendan Rodgers style than Kyogo is. I've said that all along about the two of them. But I'd like to see Kyogo in the number 10. And I'd like to see Rodgers go back and try and get back to that 4-2-3-1 formation, see how we can kind of mix things up a bit.
Yep.
The funny thing about it as well, Mark, is when Rodgers was here the last time and he done the 4-2-3-1, he never once played Callum McGregor in there.
No, but he was beside Scott Brown. So
Yeah,
Scott
but
Brown done the kind of dirty, but McGregor was controlling, playing the more natural game kind of thing, passing the ball about and dealing with that side of thing.
But even under Rodgers, the first time he was there, Mark, McGregor was even further forward. It was normally like in Cham and Brown, or Brown and Armstrong, or someone. McGregor was nearly in the three that were in front. He was nearly on the left of the tree.
But it was younger. He was nearly your number 10. Aye, definitely. Look at the amount of goals he scored when he was younger.
Yeah. But like I'm saying, if you had him in further forward or whatever, and you have whoever's in that midfield holding, if you have a genuine CDM and someone in there like an O'Reilly or someone like that, and McGregor is slightly further forward, you can still, like you said, mix and match it. Like, you know what I mean?
Right, we've got enough players to be able to chop and change it, but the players we know the players we're watching about their skill sets, sir. And there's enough players in that team to kind of what you're saying to mix and match it and mix it up to so many levels and surprise teams that you're playing.
Yeah. But even the subs from the bench yesterday, what you were bringing on was really, really poor. I have to say, I'm not trying to target him again, but my God, David Turnbull is so slow.
Oh.
There was two occasions. There was two, like the time where the Ross County near the end made a break, and Turnbull was 2 yards ahead of you, man. And by the time they got to the ball, Turnbull was like a yard behind you, man. It looked like he was running in jam. He was so, I couldn't believe it. And this was a guy that was only after coming on, like. He's just, I couldn't believe how slow he was. I really couldn't.
Yeah, he's definitely, I still can't understand why he's getting game time. I mean, why not bring on home?
Yep.
I mean, that's Turnbull, that's basically him going to be a free agent in the summer. We don't know, he can sign a
And you're not telling
contract.
me he's not talking to clubs already.
Okay, definitely.
I mean, so his head's elsewhere, so I wouldn't have him anywhere near it. The squad, I know we're paying his wages, but he's off in the summer, and without shadow of doubt he'll be talking to clubs, so his head's not going to be fully in it, no matter how professional he wants to be. So there's no point in wasting time with him.
Yeah, and I'd agree with you. I don't understand why Holland didn't come on. It seems to be when they change the three that's there, obviously at the minute is McGregor, Bernardo and O'Reilly, fair enough. But when they're making a change in the middle, it seems to be like it's nearly like 1 week it's a Holland, another week it's Turnbull, another week it could be 5 weeks and then the Wata comes out of nowhere and gets a game, and you're going, where, who, how, like who, what's going on there? Like,
Aye.
no, you think it's the same kind of guy would be coming in a lot of occasions to go, well, I know he's coming in and he's going to slot in, he knows what to do. But you're there kind of going, that seems very strange. I haven't seen Turnbull play in, say, 4 or 5 weeks, and then he comes in for a game, or you haven't seen a Wata play, or even Hunt play for a while. I don't know, it's a strange one, the way they do it.
There, the Plunge McNugget was saying Brendan will change the formation when he gets the players in he wants. That's what I'm hoping for.
Brendan won't be here.
That's what I'm.
Brendan he won't be here. He'll be gone at the end of the season.
Well, if he doesn't get the signings in that he's looking for, then I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame him. However, I think he will be here at the end of the season. I think he will be here at the end of the season. Well, I'm hoping
Well,
so
he'll be
anyway.
here to the end of this. He'll be here to the end of the season, but I have a feeling he'll be off skid in. I mean, you can't tell me that the club have what he came in and talking about. They haven't backed him. Like, I know he's contracted, but
They
Think he'll
haven't
go and
backed him.
replace Klopp.
you
No,
wouldn't. You would probably not. But like, but you know, they haven't backed him. Like, they haven't backed him, and I wasn't a fan of him coming back. But at the same time, I can understand if he decides to head for the hills at the end of the season. Because if he doesn't win the league, everyone's going to be out for his head.
It doesn't matter who they get in. See if they're not going to back him, give them money, and let them sign their own players. Then what's the point in bringing them in? The guy's hands are tied. So if you bring a manager in, especially one that they know, they've got to give him the backing. And if he's as tight with Desmond as we're led to believe, then he should be bending his ear and saying, "Look, either back me, give me the funds that I'm needing to push this team on and get them where I think they should be and want me to be, or I'm off and I'll blow the lid off the whole thing and I'll let the fans know because I'm not taking the rap for it this time."
He would need to do that. We spoke about this the other night, Jerry. If he did leave this time, he would need to come out, I think, and just look, see all this non-disclosure stuff and all that. He doesn't need any of the money, so he could just say, look, do what you want. I don't want your settlement or whatever. But I'm letting the fans know what happened this time because I can't put my family and all that through that kind of pressure again that I'm the bad guy.
Yep.
And I wouldn't like to think that Celtic board's playing on that.
No.
Do you get what I mean? Because when he came in his first press conferences, we all saw them. We thought, even listening to them, we thought, oh, things have changed a bit. You know what I mean? But he was happy with it. He spoke to them, the way the football department was running. He was happy about all that kind of stuff. Evening, Rod Petal. Nice to see you again, mate. Rod Petal, no that kind of Petal. Don't get jealous, grot bags, listening to that. But when he came in, the way he was talking, it was, oh, everything's hunky-dory. We know what's happening. We've got a vision, we've got a plan, and everything's a lot better than it was the last time. But in the first 6-7 months, we've not seen that at all.
It's exactly the same. And just to go back to Jerry's point, the thing as well, Jerry, is it's whatever about bringing in a manager. Celtic were bringing in, whether people like it or not, a high-profile manager.
Yep.
Probably the highest manager they could have got in.
Yep.
Who's come from the Premier League and who's been dealing in big money. I know Celtic can't deal with the level that was down there, but the expectation was certainly from me is that Rodgers is in. Okay, they've had the chat like Mark is saying, and we all said at the start of the season that Celtic seemed to need maybe 3 or 4 really, really good quality players because the squad had just won a treble. They were all buzzing. I think 2 or 3 now real quality players of maybe the 8 or 7 or 8 or 9 million pound bracket, maybe even a 10 million pound bracket, and you'd be swimming. Instead, it's been nothing like it. It's been £1 million, £2 million, the odd 3 million, 4 million, and I couldn't believe it in the summer. And as I said, in the January transfer window is even worse. And I said it to you last week, Mark. I don't expect any more to come in. I genuinely don't. And that's why I could see Rodgers going, especially if they don't win the league, I could see him going, I need to get out of here and get out of here quickly. Celtic seem to be the template seems to be, as I said last week, the players either around 3, 4, maybe 5 million. That's it. Celtic don't deal in this 9 or 10 million pound players. It seems to be very, very clear to me. And they were able to get away with it with the Spurs manager because he wasn't high profile. Rodgers is a high profile manager.
We wouldn't have got him if he wasn't a fan or if he never had a connection with Celtic, I don't think.
No.
Especially in the first place.
No, definitely no. But that's one of the reasons that you expect more than that, Jerry. Do you know what I mean? Because he is. I mean, it's like whether you want to call it nepotism and stuff like that, and without getting for JFB's he'd explode wherever he is listening to us. But even down to Mark Lowell, right? We're arguing about how good or bad is at his job, right? But without that, but if you're using your kind of people, it's like a player. If there's a player out there that you think maybe a wee bit out of your league, I mean, it's like I know he only came alone. Robbie Keane, would never have seen Robbie Keane a Celtic top if he wasn't a Celtic supporter.
Yep.
Guy, do you know what I mean? There's hundreds of players like that, and I think that's the same with managers. And unless you're going to offer it, it's like, I mean, we've both heard the stories about how the actual Daddy Lil and Baby Lil fell out. Is it that Mascara, the manager?
Yeah.
Young Lil wanted, Baby Lil wanted him in, but Daddy Lil went with Dermot Desmond and went with Brendan Rodgers. So that's a kind of forward thinking plan, that going with somebody like Maresca. But if you can get a manager at the level with Brendan Rodgers, who is considered an elite level manager, I mean, if Brendan Rodgers took the Spurs job, Ange wouldn't be there. He was offered it before.
I know, but
Brendan Rodgers, do you know what I mean? He turned down the Spurs job. So
But
he
then
said he is an elite manager, so but you've got to back him. It's not good enough
Right,
just having that
exactly.
elite manager. You've got to give him the backing.
that's what I don't
I mean,
understand.
aye.
If they've got a manager like him in, then why backing them? Why trusting them to spend money or identify players, or why are you just handing them so-called projects and giving them shite? I mean, I agree with you, Mark.
But who's handing that? Who's handing him that?
Exactly. This is
I mean,
I've said this a few times. I mean, who's pulling the trigger? And you used to think before, I know the manager's not going to go and watch every signing, but maybe you've got scouts that will go and look and then say, look, we've identified this player. Here's a kind of compilation of games.
Aye. Here's his data reports and all that stuff.
Aye.
The guys above our pay grade understand his daft expected goals ratio and nonsense like that. Aye. And it's just
look at it that way. What do you think of him? I mean, and it's again, we've had players in our own league that we've played in week in, week out, likes of Doig, Majowski, Shankland, Hickey, Ferguson, but yet we've whoever it is has not decided either. The manager must turn around and think, oh well, Shankland, look at him. Any games we played against him, he would do a number for us, or Majowski, or I like the way he runs or moves or whatever. Ferguson, it's just who does pull the trigger? I mean, you'd think if there's players in our league, the manager would be the first one to turn around and say, look, I think he would do a job for us. But players maybe further afield, then if it's our scouts that are or Lol or whoever it's identifying players but we're not getting them, then you think, really?
Henke just said exactly what I was going to say. Do you know what I mean? How can it be on today with the CEO, Michael Nicholson, but it was with Peter Law was CEO? See, that's the thing. Celtic, no, but it is Celtic fans went on about, Peter Law was making a decision when he was CEO, who we were signing, right? But no, he's not, right, I've said this before, but apart from the actual financial side of it, at the board level, and even then, he'd probably not even get that much of a say in it. The transfer Celtic makes get nothing to do with Peter Law. Right, and as I said as well, that whoever is pulling the trigger, and it usually is the CEO in a club, but it's always falls to him. That's who decides where the money goes. It's his say where the money goes. Do you know what I mean? That's basically what his job is. So for Michael Nicholson not to have any say and beyond what £4.5 million a year or something like that, maybe. That's just craziness. Celtic's not going to pay a guy £4.5 million just to be Peter Law's puppet.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's got to be, for me, and you'd like to, the way I'd like to think that it works or it should work in me, kind of layman's terms for me, right? Mark Lyle and his team are just lists of players. And then the likes of Mark Lyle, Brendan Rodgers and Michael Nicholson get together and draft through these players and decide who we can afford. Michael Nicholson's obviously there for that side of things, who we can afford and whatever the deal is. And Nichols and Baby Lil and the manager, Rodgers, whoever it was, it's up to them to decide, right, try and get. But even if Baby Lil wants option A, but Rodgers is like, I'd rather have option B. I think he'd get more in him, and he's a wee bit cheaper. So it's got to be that kind of thing. But there doesn't seem to be any kind of clear path at Celtic.
That's the problem.
Even down to like the likes of, see the football department, the likes of what Mark Lowell's in charge of. these kind of what they like to call projects and all that. The word is starting to get on my wick right enough, projects. Right, but that should be done to the football department. But a wee bit of a say for the manager at the time, because we're talking about players that are 2 or 3 years away. We don't know where the manager's going to be in 2 or 3 years, but we know that's going to be a player in 2 or 3 years' time. We've bought enough of them to know that. That process seems to work for Celtic. Do you know what I mean? We've made a hell of we've wasted a lot of money as well, but we've made a hell of a lot of money even get back to the likes of Christopher Ayer and stuff like that. So that's got to be a bit the forward planning, but for the here and the now, it's got to, for me to be between the final decision has to come down to the manager and obviously the CEO if he can afford the deal.
Yep.
But
Peter McNugget, I'm not naive at all, mate. Peter Lowe, why is he running the club? Why is he breaking corporate laws and everything? Because basically what you're saying is that Celtic's basically breaking every law of the land when it comes to running a business. That's basically what you're saying with all this kind of stuff.
Well, the only thing is, Mark, can I just say something there? Celtic's transfer policy was the exact same when Peter Lawwell was gone. Exactly the same.
Right, exactly. Even if Ange was still at Celtic, the majority of players have signed this summer, but they've signed the same players. Remember, I've got a couple of the kind of qualities that even Rodgers was looking for in with Ange. Yeah. But the majority of the players that we signed this summer would still have signed. That's not doing that wasn't, and people going about Ange this and Ange that. I mean, much shit did Ange sign for us.
He signed a load, but what I'm trying to say to you is exactly what you're saying. There was a stage when Peter Lawwell was out of the club. Celtic still signed the same template of player. It has to be between this level of price and this level of price. Simple as that. And I said it before. I feel that Mark Lawwell has been given by Michael Nichols and the board, whoever it is, to go, yeah, we're looking at players, but they need to be between this bracket and this bracket. And it may be, as we said, they might have the scouts might have looked at players, there's 4 or 5 players, these guys are good. And I won't be surprised if the first question is asked, he's a right good player now, fullback, how much is he going to cost? He's probably going to be about 7.5, 8 million. Okay, what about the second guy? He's about 6 million. Okay, what about the third guy? He's probably maybe 3.5, 4 million. Okay, let's look at him. I have no doubt because you cannot tell me that if you continually sign players in 3, 4, maybe 5 million brackets, that's not the Celtic template. And to me, that's what's happening because obviously Rodgers might go, well, I want. There's been history where Lawwell has wanted that Castagna. Is that the guy he was playing with Leicester, the full back? I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation.
Rodgers had wanted him and I.
Yeah, and they didn't get him. There was the lad who landed in Glasgow, and there was a change in price, and he hightailed it. I know, but what I'm saying is, fair enough. People were blaming Lawwell for that, but Lawwell was gone out of the club for what was he 2 years out of the club, maybe, I don't know. But Celtic still continued the same transfer policy under Michael Nichols. So you can't just say they're doing this now because Lawwell's back. They were doing it all along. Before Lawwell came back.
Even Carter
Carter Vickers.
How many Celtic fans had heard the Carter Vickers or Jota before we signed them?
No one.
That again was a loan with an option to buy and stuff like that. That was as much a gamble as any other transfer. We didn't spend any money on them. We tried out to see how good they were first, kind of thing.
And that's what I'm saying. I know you hear people going, we paid 6.5 million, but you didn't pay. We paid 6.5 million after we realised how good they were. And then you had a good chance that you were going to get X, Y, and Z, and obviously some of it was agreed beforehand that if we are going to sign him, this is going to be the price, and fair enough. But they both proved to be very, very good players for Celtic. But that aside, if Celtic were asked to buy Carter Vickers before he had the season loan for 6.5 million, Carter Vickers wouldn't be playing in Celtic. Jota would be the same. He would have
even bought them for 3 million too.
No, Celtic wouldn't have got bought either of those 2 players. But I'm just trying to say that, like Peter Lawwell, this notion of the Peter Lawwell thing is Celtic have this template that they're buying. In my opinion, they're buying players between this bracket and this bracket. And Mark Lawwell, I don't know this obviously much about the Mark Lawwell lad. But like, surely he must be coming from Man City, kind of going to himself, bloody hell! It must be a big change around, and it doesn't help that who he is. I think he gets blamed with a lot of it. But no, I'm not saying he's not due for criticism. Of course he is. But it's Celtics their template that they have for signing players. There's something seriously needs to be adjusted to that, because I think they're signing, if there's 5 players, they're looking at 3 and 4, not 1 and 2.
That's what I'm talking about, Terence. Who's making that? That's what I'm saying, Terence. I think there's, and as I said, it's just kind of layman's terms. There's got to be a list of possible targets or whatever, and how many times have we, and who's deciding where we pull the trigger on, and where are they on the list? That's exactly what you're saying, Terence. Instead of going for that top one that's going to cost 6-8 million to buy right away, we're going for the kind of, well, we could get him on loan and then maybe only cost 5 million at the end of the season. And
I think it's the board, Mark. It has to be the board.
The board as a whole make that decision rather than going back. As I said, I'd have put that down to Michael Nicholson. And
Well, maybe Michael Nicholson and maybe one or maybe whoever is the chief finance guy now. Maybe they're sitting down and going, well, that guy's too rich for our blood, like. It's too much money for him, like.
Aye, that's what I think. And that's got to, but see the thing about it, see in most big clubs, there is that kind of transparency. But you know who is making these decisions. At Celtic, you don't. I mean, even you look at big clubs that are even struggling in that. You look at even like Man United, clubs like that, they've got a kind of set structure. So, if you're if you were a Man United fan doing a Man United podcast, we'd be right enough to know that's his fault. Do you know what I mean? And everybody would agree with you. Do you know what I mean? Because that's his job. So he's responsible for that. I mean, it's like Mark Law's the head of recruitment, but does that mean he's in charge of signings?
But you can't tell me, Mark, that Mark Lawwell wouldn't want to have signed a player by now that would have cost 8 or 9 million.
Definitely.
So I think that's what I'm saying. I think his hands are tied to an extent.
Well, by who then?
By the people above him.
And who's that?
Michael Nichols and who's ever the chief finance guy. Yeah, the powers to be at the club, the people who are above them, they would be the people to me that are.
I don't. We've got to see throughout the whole recruitment, the whole management process, all these hierarchy positions. We've not got the right people in the right positions. This is what it comes down to. Lawwell's had his time, and I know this UEFA thing, he's got to be attached to a club. But for me, see when somebody's had their time at a club, I think it's cut ties and thanks for everything. You've been paid well. Beat it. It's time for somebody else. Mark Lawwell wouldn't have got that position if it wasn't for his dad. Well, in my opinion, he wouldn't have got that position if it wasn't for his dad. I don't know what he's done to merit that position. He came in and be the head of recruitment. I know he was working for the City Group that his daddy's got good ties to. And I know they kind of take on half decent people, but if you look at the job title he done down there, I don't think it merits being the head of recruitment for us. So I think it comes down to we've got people in the wrong positions. We've not got the right footballing people in the footballing positions, and we've got too many of the. It's good that we've got all this money in the bank, but we're a football club first and foremost. We're not meant to be there sitting with millions in the bank. Sitting with 70 odd million in the bank, the Scottish League's frightening. It's nice to look at, but you're wanting a product in the park. That's what the fans are. The fans are paying good money to go and see a good team on the pitch. And tell me now that we've got the best possible team on that pitch and the best possible people in the right positions, where it's recruitment, scouting, coaching, data analysts. It's for me, it's a bit of a shit show, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. However, the problem is, Jerry, though, if you continue to pay peanuts, you're gonna keep getting monkeys. And you can't keep spending 2 and 3 million at players and expecting that. These guys are all going to come good. There's a reason. If you're buying a player for 2 million in this era, it tells you a lot about it. As opposed to if you're playing a player for 8 or 9 or 10 million.
Matt O'Reilly.
Yeah, Matt, Mike, or Mark, for everyone, Matt O'Reilly, there's plenty of Quans and Pillows and James McCarthy's and all the rest of them.
Aye, but that's again, but that's going back to terms. What attracted us to Matt O'Reilly was it how good he was as a player, and his stats that showed up to the majority of big clubs in Europe. I mean, Liverpool were sniffing about him and stuff like that. But was it just down to, did Celtic just land lucky with Matt O'Reilly? Do you get what I mean?
Sure they did. They took a chance, and it worked out well. But you have to remember, like 12 months ago, you could you could have seen Matt O'Reilly leave, and if the manager had stayed on, it wouldn't be the same Matt O'Reilly.
Aye.
You're spot on, Ter. He could have left, and I think there wouldn't have been as much of a kick up as if he had to leave the now. But
Yeah,
that's where we're at. But it's the I can understand how much you're paying, but as what Mark said it umpteen times, and it's spot on. We need to increase the wage bracket for the better players. At the end of the day, the players are wanting as much money as they can get, and you're only going to get quality by increasing the wage bracket. And I think we're kind of tied just now with the wage structure we've got. I think we've got to widen that before we can get the correct players in, or the better calibre of players in.
But that's a very fair point, Jerry. But the squad is so inflated. There's like 10 or 11 players taking home $6.5 million a year to contribute nothing to Celtic.
Of course. We've got to get players out the door. We're well too heavy on that department. But we've got to get players out the door. But at the same time, we can't sacrifice. We need to get the quality in as well. We can't wait till we got all these players out the door, because these players know that they're not going to go to a bigger team or get as well paid their next step down and with a lesser wage. So they're going to try and stick it out for as long as they can.
But who give these players 5-year contracts?
You've took the words out of my mouth. So they're going to be happy to sit tight. And to get back to the recruitment, I mean, Rodgers, every manager's got players that he's worked with that he would like to work with again. Or can I go to signings? There's got to be players out there that Rodgers, he doesn't need to rely on the recruitment or the data analysts to say to him, look, this guy's stats are quite good, or this is what we think this player would suit us well or work well here. We can afford them. There's going to be players out there that Rodgers.
Get back in time. You've got to look at Scott Sinclair.
Aye, exactly.
Scott Sinclair was a kind of mediocre player. I mean, I'd heard him down in England, and I knew who he was. I saw him a few times and stuff. And
yep.
He was more famous for being married to the wee bird out of Coronation Street, really, but wasn't he? And then he came to Celtic, and I mean that was a brilliant signing, you know. And I'm not
Paddy Roberts.
I'm not Paddy Roberts, wealthy Man City on loan, but even I mean, I'm not want to compare him with like Lubo. That's a bit of a stretch, but Scott Sinclair was a kind of inspired signing. Do you know what I mean? A manager that knew a player that he knew well, he knew he wanted to work with, kind of thing. He knew he would do a good job for us.
Mm-hmm. So it's, and I know a lot of these teams like Brentford and that, I think they. At Brighton, they're going down the route there. That's the first and foremost the way they go. They scout their player. They go through all the data.
Aye.
I think that's the reason they managed to get that boy McAllister and then pump him on. The same with the other boy went to Chelsea. Is it Casido?
Who is it? It's got a young Irish boy, Terence. It's gone for meant to be 100
Evan
million.
Ferguson.
You Evan Ferguson.
Somebody put on the forum. We're in for him on loan.
Chelsea looking for
I wouldn't take that for gospel right enough, but that was a rumour on the forum.
Aye.
But sure, look who runs Brighton. The football side of it, like. Isn't it, you know, David Weir, like.
See that kind of thing.
Back to Bob's point about the financial suicide. If we increase the wages and spend 40 million in transfers. I don't know how. I don't agree with that at all, buddy. I mean, if we've got 70 odd million sitting in that bank. You spend 20, 30 million on that, on decent quality players, and you're getting rid of the kind of deadwood, and you're getting 50, 60 million this season alone for getting into that Champions League. And it's still debatable. I think the season following this coming up, you're going to go straight in again. I don't think it's going to be financial suicide. I don't think it's going to be financial suicide. That's my opinion. However, the only way you're going to progress, buddy, is if we increase that wage bracket.
I've said that for the very first podcast on the forum for years, even before that. But I've said it for the very first podcast we done. I've not got a problem with the amount of money Celtic spend. It's how they spend it.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's better, like their terms, much money, much wages to just say a week as we're basically wasting on people getting there's nothing.
Oh, yeah, there's like 6.4 million.
What's that out a year?
That's a year. Like.
Is it 150 grand?
That's out 100 grand a week.
Aye.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So instead of paying this money to all the deadwood, you get a couple of players in, a couple of special players in that get the fans excited. Do you know what I mean? But they've got. I mean, obviously they improve the team, but get the fans excited. A few players, we'll go and see so and so. Do you know what I mean? Want a couple of these type of players on the 50, 60 grand a week bracket. You know, it's only two players, maybe three players. Right, and then that's nonsense. I've said this before. All this gab, that put all the other players' backups and all that. Well, you're only worth what you're worth. Somebody to pay you.
Yep.
I mean,
exactly.
How did players feel when, like,
Ronaldo
walked into their team and was getting £1 million a week and stuff, and they're only on 200 grand a week? Were they all marms? No, they weren't.
But you're 100% right, Mark.
You look at the Celtic team. Is John Skills beating down Rodgers' door? What demand a new contract cost Cal McGregor's on more money in him? No. So you spend the wages to get better players in. The transfer fees are irrelevant. You pay the wages and you get better players in. That's the be all and end all for me.
But I hate saying the same thing, the market, but people are probably bored of listening to me. But like Celtic can't keep the top earner at 35 grand a week, like. Do you know, it just can't because it's like for the normal Joe Soaps like us, the general standard of living has gone up in Ireland anyways, drastically. And again, they keep going, that 35 grand is not 35 grand even 5 years ago. You know, Celtic should be able, if you've got 72 million in the bank and you've got 33 or 4-man squad and you're looking at it properly and going, okay, look, we need to compete at the Champions League. I'm not saying the main teams because they're too far away, but be competitive in it. You have to eventually go, lads, we now need to move the gauge a little bit further forward. We now need to give our top guy 50, maybe 55 grand a week. You know, I'm not saying Celtic, and I agree with you, Jerry. I'm not saying that Celtic go bananas and spend 50, 60, 70 million in transfers and give everyone huge contracts. But you give a good contract to those who deserve it.
Yep. See,
like what Mark is saying there.
One of the boys had made the point about we signed Sutton, Lennon and Hartson for 5-6 million in the 2000s. Now we're bolting at that kind of money. But as you've said a few times, Ter, coming on, £5 or £6 million back then is the £5 or £6 million now.
It's a 3 million. It's a 3 million now.
And the other thing is, Doc, I've seen that one about players, if you're getting paid 60 odd grand a week, they're not caring where they're playing.
Exactly.
As much as we all think they want to be, they're no mercenaries there, and they come here for the love of the club. It's nonsense. They want to earn, they'll go wherever the money is. And if they were getting asked 60 grand a week to play in Swahili, that's where they would go. And you'd go as well, and so would I. So to think they wouldn't come here to play against Ross County and whoever is nonsense, mate.
Exactly. That's why those players play in the Premier League. They don't play in the Premier League because it's a nice place to be, or like you'll see guys now that would be going to Newcastle. They'll be going to Newcastle because someone is going to give them 200 grand a week. Why is Cristiano Ronaldo gone half around the world? He hasn't gone over there
Jota,
to bring football. Jota's the same, like.
but that's
You know,
the
he
perfect
would.
example. I mean, there's 3 days left. I don't know how long your window's open for, but there's 3 days left in your transfer window, and Jota's still stuck out in Saudi Arabia. Oh, aye, he's mint it. But what did he go there for? Did he go there for football reasons, or did he go there for the money?
Money, like everyone did,
Aye,
like everyone in the football. Like Messi went to
Hulk.
Yeah,
Um,
Messi went to America for the same reason.
He went to China he went there just for money. All that. Go for enough money to a player. I'm not saying we want to go out there and saying kind of mercenaries that are just coming for the money, but like if we can offer a player.
That Teddy fella, Mark, they could have offered that Teddy guy 50 or 16,000 a week and got him in for nothing.
Aye, exactly. That kind
and
of
he'd have come.
The thing is, get back to Rodgers. I hope he's still here come next season. I wouldn't want him to go, and I think he's a good manager. But see, at the end of the day, see if he's not getting backed, and he's not been allowed to sign the players that he wants, then I wouldn't blame him for walking. And I would understand.
Neither would I, Jerry. But so, he can't be given the players he's wanted, because if he has, he's basically signed one player. Yep. And I don't know if even that German lad is. I'm assuming he had some input into it. But I just don't. I can't believe that Rodgers only wants to sign players for $3 million. I just can't. No one will convince me of that. No chance.
Well, he went for a couple of interviews or a couple of talks with Roger. Must have been Desmond and Lowell. So he knows what you're not going to get. They must have spoke about everything. So he would have been told, look, this is what we want you to do. This is the budget you're going to get. So there's no way he would have signed here without asking all the right questions, regardless of how much he likes Celtic or no. He's not going to be like himself signed up to sold a pig in a poke. So he's the one that's got to then turn around and say, look, what's happening? This is what I was promised. This is what you're giving me. If he's only going to live up to what you're telling me, I'm walking. I think that happened. I think that has happened, Jerry.
I genuinely do think that's happened. I genuinely do think that he was told you're going to be X, Y, and Z. We all heard the start of the season if there was talks of there's going to be a war chest there of 35, 40 million for Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Now, I know that's all paper talk, but like he must have been told, like you're saying, that there's X, Y, and Z, and something's happened, because there isn't. They spent 20 million, I think, on 9 players in the summer. I think it was 20 million on 9 players. Like just 2.odd million a player. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, Rodgers wouldn't even have guys in reserve football in Leicester probably on 2 million. You know, and they've signed one player in this transfer window for 3 million, and we're looking for a keeper. Our centre forwards won't fall from being out for the rest of the season. We need help at left back. and yet there's no sign of anyone coming in. And as I said, I'll be amazed if there's one more loan player in. I'll be amazed. I do think that they'll come out with that nonsense that we tried to get the Danish fellas to set the forward over the line, but negotiations broke down at the last minute, blah blah blah, to make it look like they tried. But I don't think Celtic will get anyone in. That's my own opinion on it.
Mr. Positivity tonight, you've burst my bubble, mate.
Sorry, but I'm since I've had this bang, I'm very pragmatic. I'm probably too pragmatic now, just to go, no, this is the way it is. And I genuinely don't think they will, Jerry. Because the whole season, the way they've done it, they haven't filled me with any bit of confidence that they will get someone in. And like, there's only 3 days left in it, 2 days left in the window. You know?
You get the rosary beads out, my man. Hope to God we do.
Well, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think they will. I think maybe a lone player, but that's it.
Uh-huh.
In what position there?
You know, I'd say to be honest, Mark, I know in Celtic they'll probably get another winger.
A centre midfielder.
Yeah, something like that, or a winger or something like that. Like, yeah, you know, it won't be anyone to do defensively. Like, It won't be anything defensively because, like, how that the Argentina fella that is it Bernard or whatever you call it, fucking pronounce his name, the fullback, how he's still at the club at Burnaby. I'll never understand it. How he's still there. He's a time bomb, that fella. Like, you know, he's complete loose cannon, that fella. Like,
see, Doc, that doesn't happen. You give one player 60 grand a week, then it's time to negotiate existing players' contracts, and they demand the 60 grand a week. So how come everybody's not beating down Michael Nicholson's door to get the same money as Cal McGregor? How? So you're paying one guy 35 grand, 40 grand a week. Why do they all not want that?
but people don't even do that in their own. People don't do that, Mark, in their own work job.
It doesn't matter what Celtic's paying any player. That's between the club and that set player, and that's up to. All you tell the player is, well, you get to his level, give you 60 grand a week. That's a myth, that. Oh, that's about, it'll upset the dressing room and stuff like that. So if Celtic went out at the Mora and signed Mbappe for £150 million and gave him 200 grand a week, all the rest of the team would go in the door wanting 200 grand a week. Nonsense. That's just an absolute
your own
myth.
job.
That's a myth that goes out about football. Terms, the guys at your work get paid more than you.
Of course they do.
And with no disrespect, there may be no
And they deserve to.
There may be no better in their job, but maybe their job more important.
But look, if there's a manager in my place and in certain areas and certain jobs, they're going to get paid more than you.
Aye.
It's just a fact of life.
Strikers get paid more money than a centre back does. You
I'm
can
not
laugh all you want about it being a myth. You tell me one football club anywhere in the world where every single player is on the exact same money. Any club in the world. You can even go down to Hamilton Accies and the main player or striker will win more money than the left back, right back. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
But Mark, why aren't the players going in so arguing, going, hold on, I'm playing for Celtic. Why aren't I on the same wage as Michael Nichols?
Aye.
Because Michael Nichols is the CEO of the company. That's why. And you're a footballer. Now jog on.
Aye, but that's what I mean. But so every Celtic player should be on the same money as McGregor. That should be out of that. No matter when, according to Doc there, no matter what club you're at, every single player should just be on the same money all the time. And it makes it all unhappy and people moaning about money. But I've never heard of that apart from reading it on forums and stuff like that. The majority of players don't even talk about money or wages or anything like that.
You get paid what you're worth, Mark, and that's as simple as that.
And whether you're a football player or working in a factory or a mechanic or a plumber like Jerry or whatever, you get paid for what job you're doing.
Yeah, whatever you're worth.
Aye.
And that's it. No matter what occupation in life you are, the guy up the road there who looks like a cancer doctor, a surgeon, is going to get paid what he deserves because what he does. A guy who's like me, works in a factory, is going to get what I deserve. Jerry's a plumber, he gets what he deserves. It's just, that's the way life is. Yeah, that's the way life is. And the fact that people think that every footballer should be on the same wage because Callum McGregor is there and Kwan is down here. No, that's not how it works. Sorry.
No, it's like if Celtic went out and signed a star striker, the kind of marquee kind of striker that we want, and suppose they were spending 60 grand, paying him 60 grand a week, that's nothing at all to do with any other player on that park apart from Cal McGregor. Because a lot of the captains have got a kind of, I don't know if it still is common, but they've got a kind of deal that they're up on a parity with the top earners in the team. But apart, I mean, it's nothing to do with Greg Taylor, what Tony Ralston's getting paid. Do you know, it's just people keep going on about that. Oh, if we sign these players and pay them 60 grand a week, every player's going to want that. Aye, they can want it, but they need to earn it.
Yeah, 100%. Like James Forrest is on that contracting that I saw. James Forrest is on 19 grand a week. But he's on 19 grand a week because probably, I'm not saying he deserves it, but he's on 19 grand a week because of how long he's been at Celtic.
Aye, because he's how long he's been there.
Yeah, he's not.
People are saying McCarthy's on 28 grand a week now, but his
14.
Meant to be. Aye, he's meant to be on. I was going to say 12. I thought terms, but he's got about I don't know, 10, 15 grand a playing. Kind of, as long as he's playing, he gets kind of serious money.
Yeah, the ones I saw,
As long
Mark,
as
at the
he's not
time, the
playing,
three
it's
ones that
just
stood out. The ones that stood out were James Forrest was 19 grand. At the time, that Nat Phillips fella was 24 or 5 grand. Seagrass was 15 grand, and James McCarthy was 14 grand. They were ones that stood out to me straight away because you're going like, 20 grand, 19 grand for McGregor, nearly 29 grand for the other two. You're looking at 70, 80 grand there between four players, like. And you're going like, what do these guys contribute? Nothing. Absolutely zilch.
We've wasted a fair amount of cash over the years, haven't we?
Oh, it's
And,
I
and a
honestly,
lot of,
if you look through the list, it's unreal.
Most clubs actually, I mean, no clubs signings are 100% spot on.
No, you're going to have duds, Mark. You're always going to have duds.
We've had some right sore ones, like even Barkas. Do you know what I mean? What was it? £4.5, £5 million we paid for Barkas,
yep.
And it just a mistake. It just didn't work out. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
for every kind of Barkas, we've got a Matt O'Reilly, but £1.5 million.
Uh-huh.
Mark, did you just drop one? No, Bobby, no chance.
That was Jack in the back room.
Aye.
Playing the dog as usual.
I never even heard anything there.
Neither did I, mate.
That's probably Jerry. Jerry's noted for it.
Oh, that's Paul.
Aye, it was Paul, wasn't it, mate? Aye, it was Paul, wasn't it? The dog snoring and that, and then
he let rip.
Right, mate, I'm going to need to jump, man. My dog's doing my box in.
What?
My dog's doing my box in.
We'll wind that up anyway. That's 8:30.
It's been good tonight. I've plenty of discussion anyway, and it's good that we don't always agree.
You need to hear. We're not arguing with anybody or that, even in the light. We don't fall out on here. We're all pals together on here. It's just differences of opinion, and everybody's entitled to it.
We're all here for the same love of Celtic.
And that's it. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. If everyone agreed with each other, it'd be a very boring world.
Exactly, mate. That's what I keep telling her.
If everybody agreed with each other, we were supporting Rangers. They just agree on everything, whatever they say.
Speak for yourself. It wouldn't be me. Yeah. Right, guys, it's been emotional. Yeah. What's happening? We're going live for Selly Park on Wednesday.
I don't know if you're going up. If you get up, Jerry.
I'll go up, man. I've got a yellow tie looked to it and everything. I could do the gym white.
We'll do a pod on Wednesday for transfer deadline day.
Aye, we were no signing.
I think I'll say we'll have 2 signings in for then, and then another one on Wednesday.
Oh, that burger van boy. I wonder if he'll be there. He's always got a good tips, isn't he? He'll be able to tell us who's been there, Robbie Keane or whoever. Shay Given.
It doesn't count, no, Mark.
The burger guy.
Aye, the burger guy.
It doesn't count, no, Mark. If they sign a new person in the Celtic superstore, that's not a signing, no.
Deadline day is Thursday, is it? I thought it was Wednesday. No,
I thought it was. It's the 1st of February. No, I thought it was. Are you sure it's Thursday?
I thought it was midnight on whenever 31st or whatever it is.
I thought it was half. I thought it'd been changed to 11:30. I read that earlier on. Whatever night it is, will be on. What?
Well, it's Thursday night. The boys are saying.
Right, well, it'll be Thursday then.
Aye, it's an hour later, Bobby. It's no a day later. It's only an hour or two. I think we slam shut at midnight.
Well, we're early. We're early. I noticed that we're a half hour early.
Aye, so it's about 11:30 in England. Shuts at 11, so it's normally about 11:31. We'll get the message.
Half 11 in February the 1st.
Aye. So by about 11:31, we get a statement say we just never got it over the line. We were close, but just never got it over the line.
That's what it'll be.
Somebody failed their medical.
It will.
You've got time hours up. Right. I've just looked up. I thought I don't know. It was you that mentioned Wednesday to me in the talk, Jerry.
Was mate? I just thought it'd be January window would shut at the end of January, mate. That's how. But again, I blame the schools. It's it maybe not got the same school as us.
For God's sake, thank fuck for that.
Right, guys, it's been emotional, and thanks to everybody in the chat. It's been brilliant tonight. Good to see everybody on.
80 odd people on there at one point listening. Brilliant, mate.
Aye, and the bishop was missed, but he'll be listening back. Hopefully we can get him
Notice.
in on Wednesday.
Martin Burnbank. Bartley, you say Burnbank?
Bumbank.
No, but no Burnbank. Burnbank. Burnbank.
He says
Just down the
Bumbank.
road from me. Burn. B-U-R-N. I do think that gaydar shit and all that again, Jerry. You've been telling about that on here. You keep that to yourself. You know,
Hanging about the Jabba, know what I mean?
Backdoor
You
shenanigans.
remember us hillbillies are all right. We don't bother. I mean, we're out here with the sheep. Right, guys, it's all been emotional. I'll need to shoot. Okay.
Right.
Take care, Jerry.
Thanks for
Hail,
coming,
hail,
Jerry.
take care.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Jerry.
Take care.
Bud. You off there then, I know.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're locking up, so to speak, knocking it down.
Stick about for a wee 10 minutes if you get anything to talk about.
Just I don't know. I worry the way the season is going. I have to be honest. I worry the way the season is going for the last. I just worry. I just worry about it. I think they're not filling me with a lot of confidence. The club and the way the team are playing at the minute, and it's going to be down to two. It's going to be down to 2 points, and they have the capabilities quite comfortably to win it. I'm not disputing that, but it's just at times the way they play, they worry me. It's too pedestrian. It's very slow. They needed new signings in for if nothing else for competition, and they don't seem to have done that either. And that's why I just worry that if they play like they did at Parkhead in 1 or 2 away games, they may not get a result that they need. They might only get a draw, and the notion of the other crowd going ahead would just do my head in where Celtic were a couple of weeks ago. Like, you know what I mean?
I can't see them getting ahead days. I really can't. I mean, and the last few games we've played, yesterday was really, really bad. I'm not getting away from that. But the last few games we seem to be kind of looking as if we were a bit on track. Fair dues, it's Bucky Thistle. We're expecting. Do you know what I mean? We're expecting to beat Bucky Thistle. Do you know what I mean? But yesterday it was just so reminiscent of all the kind of bad games that we've seen. And we don't want that creep into it. We need to get a good performance. Not even just a win up at Pittodrie, but we need to get a good performance for me as well. I mean, the main thing is getting the points and getting out of Dodge. That's always my aim on away games. But I mean, Aberdeen aren't doing too well. But I mean, Ross County weren't doing too well. You know what I mean? Beat 3-1 with Aberdeen, beat 3-1 with Partick Thistle, and then gave us kind of scared yesterday. Let's be honest, he could have stole something at the end a few times.
Oh, quite comfortably could have stolen it. Could have nicked the point at the end, and that's what worries me. Mark, is Celtic are leaving teams in a game that shouldn't be in a game with them. If that makes any sense, the game should be dead and buried. You know what I mean? Bernardo misses an open goal, then Palma's 2 horrific efforts at a penalty.
The penalties killed that yesterday.
Why can't someone just do Chris Commons and just literally put his foot through the ball, just rifle it? This nonsense of whoever invented this kind of walk and try to be stylish up to the ball, barely moving, and then that drives me mad when I see someone doing it. To be honest,
I'm like you. Hit it at the goal as hard as you can. That's how a penalty should be hit. Unless you're you have got a bit of swagger, but you know what you're doing. But for him to repeat the same penalty 2 in a row, that was the shocker for me.
Oh, it was,
the first one failed so bad. See, when the first one failed so bad, and we were, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't even know why we go to the replay, because they can coach to the box and stuff. That happens in every penalty you ever see. So we were lucky enough to get the take it, and then he just rolled up and done the exact same thing. Do we know?
The second one was worse than the first one.
Aye.
You know, and I don't mind. But if you're like, even if you're one of these players that I hate those run-ups, but it's the pace that he's even hitting it with. It's like it's creeping in. Like even if you're going to put it to one of the corners and you have that stupid run-up, but do it with a bit of pace, like.
Aye, you did a wee cheeky, stupid run up, and then, but you still scud it.
Yeah, you let rip, like. That even if the keeper goes that way, there's a good possibility that there's so much power in it that he won't get there in time. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if we could say what we want, and might be slightly controversial about how many penalties they get, but my God, Celtic have got some amount of penalties this season, and I reckon they've missed more than they've scored. I really do. Like, Celtic have got a lot of penalties this season, but I reckon they've missed more penalties than they've scored. Like, and Celtic have had numerous different people taking penalties, and we still missed them. I don't know. I find it just a bit baffling at times, because the first time Palma did take a penalty, I'm not sure whether it was a European game or something like that, but it was a brilliant penalty. He whipped it with pace and power, and like, I don't know why then you change from that, resort from that to this nonsense of doing this like Irish dancing jig up to the ball and then trying to hit it, trying to tap it in, like.
That's one of the biggest disappointments for me with Palma there, was seeing you watch these scouting videos and all that kind of stuff. His set pieces were one of his kind of high points. I mean, don't get us wrong, maybe the free kicks and stuff, maybe that's just going to take him a wee bit of time to get into his rhythm, but for that with the penalties yesterday, that was absolutely shocking. And I came back to somebody like, see, if Cal McGregor should have been in his face and telling him that's just no good enough. See, as soon as he hit that, McGregor should have been in his, maybe no, I'm not meaning bong and shoot, but just saying, right, that's no good enough for us. We're not having that anymore. You can't. You know what I mean? There's no reason for.
You dodged the bullet with the first one, pal. Put your foot through it.
Aye, exactly. You took a second chance and you still done the exact same thing and made up your arse yet. That's
the definition of stupidity.
I mean, I'm thinking any decent, half decent striker should be scoring 9 out of 10 penalties. They really should. For what a penalty is. Do you know what I mean, terms? For what a penalty kick is, you should be. If you're a striker or that kind of player, you should be expecting to score 9 out of 10 easy.
Oh, and that's the funny thing is, I know it's like why maybe there's a reason why, but you'd be surprised to an extent going, well, why doesn't Kyogo take a penalty? I don't know. There might be a reason behind it. I'm just using that. It's a statement more than anything.
Your strikers are maintained a penalty, shouldn't he? And your striker should be a penalty taker.
Look at Lee Griffiths. Do you know? Like like I said, Chris Commons used to literally just absolutely rifle the ball. And the keeper, even if he did get a hand in it, he wasn't keeping it out. Like, you know, I'm not saying you have to do that all the time, but I mean, it's a bit ludicrous that Celtic have missed so many penalties this season. How many have they missed? Like, have they missed 7 or 8?
Aye, I bet that. I watched this thing. I don't know, you take a coffin for that.
We need to get all 999 or something.
I watched this thing the other week. It was at a league of their own. Do you know what I'm talking about, terms with Jamie Carragher and all that? No Jamie Carragher, Jamie Redknapp.
All right, yeah.
They were doing a thing and they were taking penalties at Man United during the half-time show or something like that. And this guy, and he was Scottish, I can't remember his name, but he was Scottish, and he said, and he told that Micah Richards, if you hit this guy who'd worked this, if you hit the ball at this angle, at this kind of speed, you're guaranteed to score a goal 99 times out of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of percentage wise. And you're like, right, fair, I mean, it's Man United, but this guy, he's telling them what to do. If Celtic go anybody doing that, I'm not talking about just even taking penalties, but Even down to that, set pieces, telling them the odds and how to take penalties, the set pieces. I mean, I've said before, I'd like to, a lot of it I would put down to, I'd like the players to get more involved with trying to fancy set pieces and stuff, but there should still be somebody on the coaching staff to help them along the lines. Well, set pieces are abysmal.
They're horrific. They're horrific.
Free kicks, corners, a lot were absolutely no threat whatsoever at a set piece.
The free kicks will remind me of if you were like watching an under 10s or 12s game. It's like everyone wants to hit it. Everyone wants to take the hit, but like there's like it's literally okay, your turn to have a belt at the ball. You try it now. Okay, now it's your turn to have a belt at the ball. Now your turn to have a belt at the ball. There's no thought process going into it to go, well, do you know what? We like say for argument's sake, the way using it as an example, the way the Dutch done that move in the World Cup against Argentina in the last minute. Just rather than it having to be someone trying to bend it over the wall, because obviously there isn't someone that can do that, because I can't remember the last time they whipped one over the wall and scored from a free kick. Maybe someone can obviously correct that, but like and even with corners, when is the last time that Celtic haven't scored many goals from corners this year either? Like, it's always a short corner and then it's played back out to nearly the half a line again and played back up. I don't know, just like you're saying, just think about it. Just vary it. Don't just always do the same thing. Like the corners are just like, it's a corner at Celtic. Well, generally we don't score from a corner. Free kick from Celtic. Generally we don't score from a free kick. Like, and it needs to be a lot better. Like,
we don't even seem to bother trying.
No, and that's what I'm saying. The short corners is nearly like we just take back possession again and do it passing around the front of the opposition box when they're at home. And so yeah. Whereas if you look at some of the other teams who played, particularly in Europe, teams might ping the ball out to the edge of the box for a fella on a corner if he's got a cracking shot in him, or free kicks. They might try and vary it and do little moves and little things like that. You just feel like, right, lads, it's a corner, right? Everyone just in the box and we'll just pile it in there and hope it breaks. And the same with a free kick. It seems to be free kick here, right? Who would have go? Oh, Matt, you would have go the last one. Oh, it's your go now, so Callum, or it's your go, Bernardo, or it's your go. That's what it comes across as. We don't have like a Nakamura where you stand up and go, it's a free kick outside the edge of the box. There's a good chance this is a goal. There's a good chance Nakamura's here. This is going to be a goal. If it's not a goal, he's going to hit the target at least. Celtic most times don't even get it over the wall. Like,
to be honest, we don't need podcasts. Just regurgitating the same stuff over and over. And you're still listening. No, I mean, we don't need podcasts, but you're still listening to one.
Really, he doesn't have to listen to us if he doesn't like to. He's more than entitled to. I don't know. I'm sure there's something on telly. No one's asking him to listen. Like, you know what I mean? We're just chatting like we are to ourselves about Celtic, and he's more than welcome to come on if he wants and chat at any time. You've always said that, Mark. In fairness, I've done it tonight, Michael. JFP does it. Anyone can come on and chat. You know what I mean? No, your opinion is welcomed. Everyone's opinion is welcomed. Not always going to agree,
Oh, get Timmy fuck. What can Bobby? Get him away.
Is he giving out now?
Aye.
Wouldn't worry about it.
Did you see anybody reading that chat and listening? The guy just called us all spastics. That's what he actually said. Do you know what I mean? That shows you how the level you're attracting idiocy. Absolute clown shoe.
Sure.
Right, we'll just wind that up. Right,
yeah, we will, but we will wrap it up.
Right. Thanks very much for coming on. Terence, everybody, come on. Mikey, Jerry. That was all, wasn't it? Thanks very much. Everybody in live chat, really appreciate it. There was about 80 odd people in at one time. That's brilliant. Thanks very much. We really appreciate everybody that listens to his live, joins in the live chat. Come and join us in the forum. If you know, hit the like button. If you know how to leave a comment, please do in the box below. We really appreciate that as well. Hail, hail, lads. Good night and God bless. And we'll see you on Thursday night, into Thursday night's transfer window night. Right, we'll see you on Thursday night. Right, good night, lads. Hail, hail.